Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 4Player Podcast. My name is Nick Henderson. I am a writer and co-founder over at 4Player Network. If this is your first time listening, please look for us on iTunes and subscribe. Doing so will keep you up to date with not only this podcast, but our sister shows Cocktail Time and Audible Impressions as well. If you haven't already, swing by the website at 4playernetwork.com and join our gaming community by signing up for a free account. And last but not least, please don't forget to tune in every night over at 4pp.tv to watch us broadcast games, record podcasts, and interact with the community. But enough about that, it's time to talk about video games. Let's get started. Because we're recording right now.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
So-
recording.
So we're good.
What are we recording,
Okay.
Nick?
We're recording our 300th podcast.
Whoa, 300!
Oh my god.
That's a big number.
You know, in actuality, it's probably not even our 300 podcast. It's probably like our 400 or 500 podcast.
I wouldn't go that high.
I'd say it's probably closer to like 800 or 900.
I thought you hate exaggerators, Brad. Is that what is that the joke you were trying
That
to
is the worst.
Could be over 900.
Brad tried to call me an exaggerator before the show, and I slapped him.
No, you didn't.
I know I didn't. I'm exaggerating. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is January 8th, 2013. My name is Nick Henderson. I am your lovely host for the evening. And I am joined...
Hey, I thought we said no exaggerating.
Brad's here.
What's up?
God damn it. Nolan Hedstrom is joining us.
How's it
as
going,
well.
guys?
And of course, Christopher Guthrie sitting across from me.
Hey, guys.
And we're gonna... This is a weird show. We usually talk about video games.
What are we going to talk about today,
I
Nick?
think we're still going to talk about video games.
Yeah, there's some video game stuff in here. But we're gonna spend about all of the show...
Hopefully someone asks about Crimson Shroud on the 3DS.
Well, so you can talk about
Because that's what he's been playing, apparently.
Something tells me that's not in here. But this is what I've been jokingly referring to as a mailbag special. We're going to do nothing but answer viewer questions, email questions that y'all sent in for this podcast. Because a lot of the times we're recording these shows, we run out of time to answer a lot of viewer questions on the show because we talk too much. But not today. Today we're going to answer tons of viewer questions y'all sent in. Thank you very much to everyone who left questions in the thread. Why is everyone popping their collars? Why is it? I don't... All right, fine. I'll pop my collar,
God,
too.
Don't make me the last one to do it.
Pop your
No,
collar,
I'm not
Chris.
doing it. Fuck you guys.
It's a 300th
You and your peer
episode
pressure.
ritual.
It's the
No, you know,
mailbag.
in fact, I am
Every 300
I am
episodes, we
extra
pop our
creasing
collars.
my collar. It is so folded right now.
God damn it. All right, well, we just popped our collars, except for Chris. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, the audio's
Assholes.
out of sync. How's it out of sync?
Assholes.
Oh, we're recording.
That-
Question number one.
No.
Oh.
We got a few little bits of business to take care of before we get started. We're going to break it down into about 3 segments this evening. First segment, we're going to do nothing but answer viewer questions. I mean, subscriber questions.
Hey.
Subscriber viewer questions. Questions sent in from our lovely subscribers.
Who we appreciate.
Who we
so
appreciate.
much.
Immensely.
Now, here's the thing. Throughout the show tonight, we're going to be drawing names out of Nolan's Meat Boy hat over here and giving away some Steam codes. We have several Steam codes that were provided by Nolan. We have a few that were actually provided by one of our esteemed community members. Dan, I think is his name. And then Brad.
Not gonna check to see.
No, it's Dan. It's
I love
Dan.
that, Dan.
It's Dan. Dan submitted some questions. And Brad had a few he threw in as well. So we have a pretty lengthy list of Steam codes to give out tonight.
I have a quick question. If something is in your inventory on Steam, that means you can gift it, right?
That's a question for our community members who are
Pretty
watching
sure that's
live.
a question for Google.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't Google.
That's a question for our community members watching us live over at 4pp.tv. But in the meantime, first segment is subscriber questions. If you are a subscriber and you submitted a question and you left me your Steam name, you get first pick. You will get to pick a code off that list. I will contact everybody whose name is drawn tonight after the podcast is recorded in the next day or two, and I will provide you with a list of Steam codes, and you can pick off that list. I'm going to go in the order they're drawn. Subscribers get first pick. But yeah, so we have some pretty random Steam stuff to give out, but
And some quality stuff, including Those two.
Oh,
games.
I thought you said you didn't want me to.
No. I'm just saying
We got some.
you
cool
can
stuff.
give stuff in your inventory, so you got a couple more things.
Oh,
Cool.
That's been confirmed. So we'll draw some names at the end of each segment, and like I said, the subscribers, if you left your Steam name, you will get something.
So
off
all
this
of
list.
their names have been put on these lovely pieces of paper, which I'm going to throw in Meat Boy.
in your Meat Boy hat, and
They're getting all juicy.
we have a lot of questions to go through tonight. So the plan is to go through as many of these as humanly possible. I don't know if we'll
I
get through
wouldn't
all
say
of
it's
them.
humanly possible, because I'm pretty sure it's humanly possible to go through all of them.
If you left a Steam name, I will answer your question, and we will try to get to all of them if possible.
It's not buggedly possible.
That's true.
Okay,
It's not.
That's also true. Nolan, would you like to say something before we get started?
Sure. Hi, guys. First time member. My name is Nolan.
What are you talking?
Hi, Nolan.
There you go.
There you
Something.
go.
Okay.
First time member, long time
Contributor
Sure.
of the podcast.
member.
You should. It starts with a confession. You say, "My
Long.
name's Nolan, and I'm part of a gaming podcast." We're
Good job, Nolan. So, I have this. Hey, there's names in there.
Oh, you dropped one.
and our first winner.
No one. Those are the ones we took out.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Why did we take some out?
there's subscribers.
Oh.
Because subscribers are winners.
Oh, well, we have a lot of stuff to give away, so.
So, on the table here, I have a lovely companion cube.
There is a companion cube on our table. Try not to jiggle that lid too much. It makes
Well,
lots
I'm
of
gonna
noise.
take the lid off.
Okay.
So
What's in the companion cube, Nolan?
as I remove the lid of the
It's going to
companion
be
cube,
like chocolate covered crickets or something.
Oh, no. None of those.
there's some napkins in
Although
there.
that would be interesting.
Ah,
How thoughtful.
calm down.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna move it over here so I can access it better. Hey, Chris, can I get camera 2? I hope we're on camera 2. So, I don't know if that's 2 or whatever. So I have some cookies.
I think the camera you're usually on is this one, but
I'm
I don't know.
gonna get closer.
We got cookies.
And they're shaped like portal
Characters.
memorabilia. So we have
Nolan literally...
some running guys. Yeah, so I baked some cookies for this episode.
You baked them?
He baked the cookies.
I saw it.
His lovely girlfriend spent
Have a portal?
painstakingly spent hours icing them, though.
Frosting them. That's the hard
It's
part.
icing. Yeah. But yes, and it did take a while. We have a blue portal. We have
What else is in there, Nolan?
we have a turret.
We got some turrets in there. Some portal turrets.
There you are.
Oh my god.
And what else do we have?
They're pretty awesome.
We have
And delicious. What are you...
We have
Oh, Wheatley.
a Wheatley.
What the fuck? There's a Wheatley in there? I didn't see
Yeah.
that. Let me see Wheatley. Oh,
Wheatley's
that's
a
alright.
jerk.
Yeah, he is.
Spoilers.
And then the coup de grace.
Let's see the coupe de gras, Nolan.
We have a companion cube.
No! A companion cookie.
A weighted companion cookie.
So the companion cube had other companion cubes.
Yes, it's in companionship.
Inside.
All right,
and
so-
whatever. And that's all. I just have a bunch of each one.
Which we'll be gorging ourselves on during the podcast.
So
Sorry.
if y'all would like to eat a cookie,
community members don't
Which
get
one would
cookies.
you all like to eat?
yeah, everybody choose a
We
cookie.
all know which one Sci-Fi wants to eat. The GLaDOS vagina cookie.
Actually. I left that one at home.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Sir Chris laughing at
I'm gonna eat a turret.
Oh, pass me a damn cookie. I don't
Wait,
really care
wait.
what it is. I
Do
just want
this.
sugar.
Gotta do this. Put the two
It's
portals.
delicious.
Break that guy in half, and oh my god, he's going through the portals.
I'm just gonna eat a
I
blue
don't think
dude.
they can see that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll hold one.
All right, give me a damn cookie. I'm just gonna reach in and grab one. All right. So, are y'all ready for the first subscriber question of the night?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Some of these are going to be video game related, and some of these might not be video game related, but either way, they should be fun to talk about. Our first question of the night comes from Felix, self-torment in chat. He's from Texas. He's a local
What's
boy.
up, Felix?
Felix from Texas.
Thank you.
And starting on
A
a
local boy? Is that what we call them down here in Texas?
that's what we call him down here in Texas. So we got a video game related question for us. And last week we recorded our 2013 preview show. So we talked a little bit about the games coming out in 2013. Some of these questions may kind of go back in that direction, but we didn't have a lot of time to talk in depth about any of those games, so
That's true.
we can revisit them. So the first question is, with Metro Last Light coming out next year, is there anything that you're... is there anything...
Next question. No.
God damn it.
Wait, that's okay.
Is there anything that you are worried about, or is there anything that you would like to have added to the game from the previous one to make it better?
Here's what I'm worried about.
It coming out at all?
Yeah, I think this question was written before the news item from a few days ago.
Yeah.
Which is what?
That
What is that? What is that news item?
THQ got denied opportunity for bankruptcy and sell, so now they're being forced to sell off all their properties to the highest bidder.
Believe it or not, will come up in another question
Oh,
coming up, so we'll revisit that in a minute, but I don't know.
Nintendo should buy Darksiders.
As a game, though, we talked a little bit about the linearity of the original Metro last time, and I think anybody else here, I want to see it a little more open. Maybe
Open would be nice. A little bit less repetitive. I mean, it was kind of repetitive.
maybe a little less shootery and a little more... the first one at its core was a shooter,
Yeah.
but it was also very much about atmosphere and stuff, so maybe a little more atmosphere, a little less shooting, make it a little... pace it out a little more.
Towards that survival horror
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Like this is a kind of a weird comparison, but Condemned was very...
Next to that was my
very
first
slow,
thought. Was
and,
Condemned,
and
yeah.
combat wasn't a huge part of that game, or at least not. Like, you didn't spend a whole lot of time shooting a bunch of dudes. The combat was very focused on one or two enemies at a time, and then you would spend a lot of time exploring before you got to your next scenario, and that was kind of cool. So maybe a little. The thing is, when I saw the demo at E3 a couple years ago, it was very fast paced and big budget Michael Bay-ish kind of thing. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Somebody brings up a good point in chat. Sison. Y'all know Sison.
Frank?
Sison, is that how you pronounce it? Saison?
Saison?
Frank, whatever. Frank says...
He's only one of our writers.
For the love of God, give me melee takedowns.
Oh, yeah.
That was annoying.
There weren't any melee takedowns?
No.
So when you got swarmed by mutants, you were just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that'd be helpful. But, I don't know.
If the game comes out.
Yeah, if the game actually comes out. I think it will, though.
Hey. I just want to fantasize about who should get what, but I guess we should move on.
Yeah.
Valve should buy everything.
That would be good.
Valve should buy everything. Our next question comes from Brandon, Bundle of Funyuns in chat. He says, as all of you are avid gamers and have been since youth... Sorry. I'll hold it up and read it.
That's probably better.
I did print it out pretty small.
Yeah.
As all of you are avid gamers and have been since youth, what are your thoughts on re-releases and HD collections? Do you believe that it's justifiable to release older games multiple times on a single console? Or should companies stop being greedy bitches and settle with a single release on a console generation and or console in general?
Well, I think we know how
Greedy
he feels.
Greedy bitches.
Have we all been gamers since youth?
Since you
To a degree?
Utes.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about this before, like a long time ago.
Well, I don't remember.
Kind of
what
a
you
late
say.
bloomer.
Oh.
I didn't really get super into games until N64 era. I had a Super Nintendo and an NES, but I played like Mario and Mario Kart, and that was about the extent.
Those are the ones people liked.
Well, if you're playing Mario, that doesn't mean you're a gamer.
I know you're the casual
my-
gamer
that's
of
exactly-
yesteryear.
That's your gateway game.
Yeah, like my
That's what
sister
gets you
played
hooked.
Mario and Mario Kart, but she hasn't played a video game in probably years.
Yeah, so I just went down the other path.
It's funny because then people
The light side.
It's funny because then people bought Wii's and then
Yeah.
they played Mario Kart.
Yep.
That's true.
You know, it's kind of hot in here.
Okay, so re-releases.
What is our opinions of re-releases?
Yes, I mean the thing is, like, my go-to answer for this kind of question is like, look at how so many of these HD collections have been kind of treated like shit.
Yeah.
Like, they've been rushed out the door. Like, for me, I was super fucking excited for Silent Hill HD collection, only to have that come out and be kind of a stinker.
A little poopy.
Yeah.
That's
And their argument is always, oh, we can patch it, and they patched a whole bunch of corrections in. But the thing is, it's not on the disc. Like,
Yeah.
what happens in like 10 years when I want to pop that disc in? I don't have access to all that updated shit.
Yeah.
I have to play the shitty version of the game. That kind of blows.
Well,
and
that's
there's-
true.
There's so many of those that have had that happen. Like
Most of them.
Zone of the Enders 2 had the same issue.
I don't think you're going to find an HD collection that has any time or quality put into it because they don't care because that's not going to be their moneymaker.
It doesn't matter, man.
The Eco collection was pretty good, right?
Well, they didn't have to do
No,
a
it
whole
was
lot
great.
because those games were good in the first place.
As someone who's been experimenting,
Whoa.
has been fucking around with
Whoa.
old consoles lately. Over the past couple of days, I've been hooking up old consoles and trying to get them to capture
Hooking
best.
them up with each other.
Like, dude, the games on old consoles look like garbage. Like,
Yeah.
absolute
No,
fucking
hold on,
shit.
hold on.
I'd rather play like a lazy port.
They
into
look like
HD.
garbage on HD TVs. I promise you, if you were to hook it up to that old TV you have up front, is that where you're hooking it up to?
Yeah, I just got that TV from a Goodwill.
Okay, yeah, exactly. If you hook them up to an old TV, they look so much better than they do. Look on HD
I know, but
TVs.
still, you know what? I get used to looking at my fucking computer, like fucking
yeah.
Far Cry 3 all day. I turned on Halo 2 today, and holy God. Holy God, man. It's,
And that's why the looks of the game aren't important,
yeah, what?
in my opinion.
Wait, did
But
Brad
it's,
say are?
it's
Hold on,
crispness.
he's saying it's important. I'm saying it's not because that if a game looks shitty in the future, someone's not going to want to play it. But if it has a good story and everyone's telling them to, they'll probably give in
or
to
like
it.
stylized graphics and stuff.
Well,
are,
some people
are usually better than technical. Like, for example, you know, you have these categories. What's the best looking game? Far Cry or Journey? You know, and you say Journey because in 30 years, Far Cry's going to look like dog shit, but Journey will still look kind of nice. You know, it's... But, yeah. Well, the other thing with old games is your eyes will adjust eventually.
Yeah.
But, man, it's a shock at first.
Careful with the table. Sorry.
But you know what? Another good reason HD consoles, HD re-releases, HD re-releases are nice is because I don't have to hook up my fucking old system to play.
Right.
You know, like Zocano was playing Metal Gear Solid 3. You know,
Well, that's
That's
also,
and
a
it was
good port.
it was in HD, and
but
yeah,
that's also
it's-
why they have like virtual consoles and stuff like that. I like when they re-release games, downloadable. You know,
But
it's
that
much
also doesn't guarantee quality.
That's
Yeah,
true.
no.
I mean, I think sometimes when they go the extra mile to like give you a lot of content for the disc, like it's justified. Like the only HD collection I've bought within the last year was the Metal Gear HD collection. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's
I
what-
was never ever going to be able to play the Peace Walker game because I wasn't going to buy a PSP to do that.
Yeah.
Like that I think was a good justifiable HD collection.
And in all honesty, though, that's one of the few ports in the past few years that has been, I think, for the most part, praised by critics and fans alike. Oh, Brad wants another cookie. Quick question, Brad. Just real quick question after you grab your cookie. Pick your cookie.
Orange dude.
Orange dude. Would you rather play Zone of the Enders 2 on the PS2 or play the frame rate stuttering version on the PS3?
Emulated PS on my computer.
Of course, he would pick a version that I was.
But do you see what I'm talking about with downloadable games? You know, something that's somewhere in the cloud. For one thing, it's never going to go away. Someone's always going to be, provide with reasonable
doubt.
I want to say with reasonable doubt. But I'm saying most likely someone in the future will still like that game enough to you will have access to it. And so, I mean, it's so much easier. Like you're saying, it's better that way. You know, when they limit it to a disc or a cartridge, you are limited to that disc or cartridge. You can't do anything else. It's so much easier with emulators.
I don't know, but I feel like having a disc of it sometimes in some cases is
Well, then
preferable.
I'll get the
because-
downloadable. I'll get the emulated version, and I will burn it to a disc.
I call time.
On this question, moving on. a
Yes.
little too
Moving.
long.
Next
Okay.
question. Sorry. Now I'm the one that's going to be the. So moving on to the next question. This question comes from Frank, who is one of our writers.
Sison.
Saison. But
Saison.
I don't know.
Is
how
that how
to
you say it?
pronounce
Sison?
I don't know. The way I
Sison.
say it.
How
why
does
is
he
it,
pronounce
then why is
it?
it so weird when he says it a different way than you?
I don't know. Okay. Since the gaming industry has found itself in a state where trilogies and countless sequels are the norm, what do you feel qualifies a game as being a good sequel? I'll just leave it at that.
It's better than the first one.
What?
He says
mean-
it's Saison.
Saison?
He'll always be Sison to me.
There you go. So anyway, I think what makes it better than the first one is or a good sequel, is if it improves on the flaws in the first one and adds something more.
But what about those
we've always brought up stuff like Mass Effect 2 which had some improvements, but it also, instead of improving on their flaws, just got rid of them. And that's not a good way to take a sequel.
It's a lazy solution.
Exactly.
It's a lazy
I'm
way
saying
out.
if they take the problems from the first game, improve them, and add more, that makes a good sequel.
The thing is, I think Mass Effect 3 is maybe more...
of a poopy game in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I was
More
going
of
to
a
say
dog-
it's a
dog
better
turd.
example.
Vomit, shit, lazy
Man,
garbage,
you got some angry words for that game. I didn't...
hot, steamy garbage.
What I was going
I'm
to...
sure the multiplayer is fun.
But what about those? What about sequels that opt for the completely different? It's still a sequel, but it's like it's
Like
more
a
of a
spiritual sequel?
It's more of a spiritual sequel. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good
Anarchy Reigns came out today. That's a spiritual successor to Mad World.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's
But I think they're very different. Like, you could say that Shadow of the Colossus is a sequel
sorry.
to Eco, but I mean, I don't. Those games are completely different in my opinion.
that's
though.
not a sequel.
Yeah.
sequel.
Well,
Yeah,
technically,
but-
could be a prequel.
It's a completely different game in maybe the same universe.
isn't that kind of what Anarchy Reigns is?
Well, I mean, Anarchy Reigns is still like a brawler. It's just much more weighted with all like online elements. I could see like if it was black and white and called Mad World 2, no one would
No
cry
one would
about
notice.
it. And, like no one would notice. Like even the structure of the levels is the same. In terms of you build up points to activate events. It's just like in Mad World.
So when do you cross a line from going from a sequel to a reboot?
Reboot.
A sequel
No,
to a reboot.
It's probably mostly in the narrative, wouldn't it be?
When you change your main character's
the
hair
story-
color from white to black.
How did I know? How did I know this was going to somehow swing around?
Because you
to
asked
being-
that question so you can get that answer.
No,
Yeah.
I mean like Tomb Raider is technically a reboot, right?
It's very much so. And it was as stated by the publisher, so
Yeah, I guess you're right.
fucking Tomb Raider.
Fucking Tomb Raider. At least it's going to distract him from DMC.
Oh, did you
hate
see
for
the
a while.
multiplayer, like footage of the multiplayer?
I saw the headline. I
no.
haven't watched it yet.
No.
What,
There is
what,
footage out there.
what does it look like?
Poopy.
Like kind of like Uncharted multiplayer.
God damn it.
Piece of
What
shit.
did we expect? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they're
But with
trying to
more
be.
bows and arrows, or
You can set traps in the levels, kind of.
Wait, is it like deathmatch or
Yeah, like deathmatch.
I don't see any other way of them taking it besides
lame?
deathmatch.
Okay, next.
I don't know what he's.
Sorry, Chris, I can't hear you in
Sound like
here.
you said brown bag special.
Brown bag special. Okay. Next question comes from Donovan from Oregon. He says, oftentimes when you come to the end of a game and are faced with its final boss, it is not always as final as its title would suggest. Sometimes you are forced to flee as the climactic in-game stage collapses around you, threatening defeat even in your hour of victory.
Wonder what game he's talking about.
Like Halo? Wait, is that what you were thinking of?
No.
Halo does that a lot, though.
yeah.
I think of Dragon's Dogma.
Well,
Spoiler
spoilers.
alert.
Not really.
Just kidding. I don't care.
Did you finish Dragon's Dogma? God damn it, Nolan! That game has like the trippiest fucking ending.
All right, let me
like
get to the question.
Final ending?
Yes.
I can go to it anytime. Like, I'm there.
Just do it. That's what I
Okay.
ultimately had to do.
I'll just do it then.
Okay,
do it.
let me finish the question.
Fuck it! We'll do it live!
Okay, he says, my question is, how final do you like your final bosses to be? A killing blow that triggers an ending cutscene, or as one last story significant battle that clears the path for the last few steps of your journey?
I think it depends on the
The
game.
latter.
I think the latter. I think, like, when a game, like, you deliver the killing blow to a final boss and all of a sudden credits start rolling, it seems lazy.
Do games often do that?
Yeah, well, back in the day, they
I mean,
did.
I guess, yeah, back in the day, but I haven't played, like, I'm thinking, like, I guess, yeah, on,
Well, I
like,
think the latter happens
fucking
more often
Yoshi's
now.
Island, that, yeah, you hit the final boss, and
Final
then,
Fantasy
like...
7.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Older games do that, but that's not really a big deal anymore. I haven't seen any games that do that. Most games, you finish the boss, and then there's some closure to the
They have
story.
some kind of like come down.
Yeah,
from
but I was
that,
thinking, like,
in
are
game.
I think the latter happens more often.
No,
I mean,
actually, maybe it doesn't. Like actual, they give control back to the player.
Oh,
I don't think that happens that often.
Then no. If you're talking about giving control back to the player, then no. Yeah, most of them.
I
do
like
that.
when games give control back
But
to the
that's
player.
usually open world games that end up doing that.
Yeah.
Something like that where you can go back and do
Red
stuff.
Dead
Yeah.
Redemption had the
Red
most
Dead.
amazing way. I think
The way you worded it, I was thinking like, I mean, not to go back to Shadow of the Colossus again, but yeah, you make that final blow into the boss, and the cutscenes and stuff, and it looks epic and stuff, and you don't have control anymore.
yeah.
I always talk about. I mentioned it plenty of times before, but one of my favorite like wrap ups to a game is after you beat the final boss in Lunar Silver Star. because you
Never
sort of
finished
go
that.
back to the main town and all your friends are there and all the people you sort of a lot of people that you met throughout your journey, and you go and like talk to them like, oh man, thanks for saving the day, bro. It's sort of like in Return of the King.
Yeah.
Like after the ring gets dropped in and how they
address every fucking story.
what not that part, but like my favorite moment in probably Return of the King is when they're in all the hobbits are in the Shire and they're sitting at the bar or they're sitting in the pub, like just having a beer, and they've gone through so much and all these other people don't even understand.
No.
Like I feel like that's kind of the moment you had in Lunar before you got on like a boat, I think, and sailed out west. Actually, that was weird. It's a lot like Lord of the Rings, but that's I like that. I like having that moment to sort of wind down and think about your adventure.
So you just want the game to give you controls again?
Yeah, just fucking why not?
For like a minute to talk to some people?
A lot of times that happens after the credits roll.
but
too.
yeah,
no,
like
Red Dead's one of the best endings.
Yeah, but
ever.
that's not even really like that's a great ending. Like the way they ended Red Dead was fantastic, but that's like almost antithetical to like the whole Metroid style ending, where you beat the boss and then there's one last thing you have to do, like another actual like kind of skill required task you have to perform in order to finish the game. Red Dead kind of wraps everything up and then lets you go and just put the bow on the whole package at the end whenever you want.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's super satisfying.
I'm just honestly, I'm sort of more referring to the conclusion to that main story thread, and then afterwards where you sort of go home. That's the best part of that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Oh,
that.
you mean like the whole like that
like the last
hour-long,
act or whatever,
like,
more than an hour.
Or,
That's
I almost wanna
that's
say,
sort of like the extended version of what we're talking about. That's really good.
I almost want to say my preferred the way of ending a game, especially after a final boss, is not. Sometimes a final boss character is not even necessary. Not even in a game that's like super focused on combat. Like a simple like narrative situation that allows you to put the end to something like if there's a villain or like.
So you're talking about Assassin's Creed 3?
No, I think Call of Duty actually does it pretty good.
Okay.
Like they put you in a
I thought that's where
scenario
you were going.
where like the final level is like the final boss. It's the most grand, epic, impactful level of the game, and it concludes. Sometimes even in something as simple as like a quick time event or something, but it puts a bow on the event, and it almost feels like that last level serves as what you would normally consider the final boss, because the challenge lies in the lead up to that final room or person that you talk to, and then all of a sudden it ends. Like I don't even have to have this like epic struggle with a character to finish a game to be satisfied with it. I can't believe I just referenced Call of Duty.
Dragon's Dogma has a really great ending. Crazy ending, I should say.
God damn it. Okay, but
It's crazy.
I'm so sad I didn't finish that game.
What's going on?
Next question comes from Tony Yoderall in chat. I don't know how to say his name. From North Dakota. And he says, what experiences have you accrued over the years with various video game-related accessories and peripherals, more specifically, third-party devices produced to enhance or replace the core elements of any serious gaming layout? Have there been controllers, handheld cases, grips, audio devices, or other contraptions that attributed a drastic change in your gaming experience? Go, Brad.
I got a sweet, like an arcade stick.
Yeah. Was that a custom?
Not just an arcade stick, but I had this really cool controller with fans in it, and it would keep your hands cool.
What? What?
I remember those. It had like the vents on the grips, and it's like to keep your hands from getting
How
sweaty.
many batteries you have to go through on that thing?
You plugged it in. I don't know. I also had one of my favorite controllers it's for the GameCube. It's Hori made.
Sorry.
It's a Hori made.
Necrobrancer brings up a good one.
It's a
Necromancer.
but
It's going off the screen, so I wanted to say it before I forgot it.
just remember it.
Yeah, read it.
It's
Write it down. You have pen and paper.
It's a Hori made like Super Nintendo controller for the GameCube, and it has GameCube buttons on it, but it's in the shape of a Super Nintendo controller with Super Nintendo shoulder buttons and everything. And it's cool. It's great for like if you have the Game Boy Advance player.
Oh yeah, that's true.
On your GameCube, it's great for playing those old games.
Yeah.
Or like fighting games.
So what was Necromancer saying?
He
forgot.
in reference to the last. In reference to the last question about the way
last
games
question.
end and final boss and stuff was. He said Dragon Age did a really good thing where you, at the very end you get to still walk around and talk to all your characters before.
I don't remember exactly how the game ended, but I remember being able to walk around and converse with all the characters in the game in some form or fashion. Is this not sounding right?
Yeah, that didn't happen.
What?
I don't remember that.
Didn't you like kill a dragon and it was like, it was like,
I thought that's. Am I imagining that?
I never finished
So anyway,
the game,
I had this one controller for the PS2. Back then, like fucking Mad Catz made the worst pieces of crap.
Yeah,
in
don't
the
ever
world.
use a Mad Catz.
They
I
still
know,
do.
I know. And the
Well, these days they make arcade
Pelican
sticks.
were all poopy. But then I got this one, and this is back on PS2, so there's like no wireless controllers. But then Logitech came out with this one controller
Yeah, the
that
PS2
was like,
controller?
yes, it was like the best controller in the world, and it had Rumble, which any other wireless controller didn't have, and it was so good.
I actually preferred it to the regular DualShock.
Exactly. So I always used this, and then one day I dropped it on some tile, and it just and then it just wouldn't stop vibrating no matter what, and I couldn't fix it, and I was so sad.
I shoved it in my pants, and it was the best day of my life.
Then I gave it to my girlfriend.
There was a really awesome control. You know how the Xbox One has never had a good controller? First it had the Duke, which was gigantic.
Yeah.
And actually the worst part was the buttons really hurt when you pressed them. And then the other one came out, but it kind of sucked. Well, I have a controller called Chris, it's on the floor right next to you. Can you bring it in here? Xbox wireless controller made by Logitech.
That sounds cool.
Back when they didn't have like wireless
Wasn't it
controllers.
the exact same thing that they made for the PS2 though?
They had one for the PS2.
I know,
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. They made almost the exact same controller, but one was for each system.
I love this communication.
Like check out this fucking controller.
Very
This is what I'm saying. This is the
Give me
exact
my damn
same.
cookie.
This is the exact same thing as the PS2 controller. It's just for the Xbox. This was my favorite controller essentially.
This was you probably can't see it.
Yeah.
It looks like the PS2 controller we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's the exact same one. They just made one for each system. Yes, that
Yeah.
was the best controller.
It's
for
the
those
best.
systems.
It's wireless.
Yeah.
Man, and like it's the D-pad's actually good since fucking Xbox controller D-pads have always been terrible, and the buttons feel nice.
Logitech made good controllers, but did they make them now for the current gen
I
consoles?
mean,
Well, you don't need
maybe,
to
but-
because
I know
the
the
first
current
party
gen ones are
controllers
good. Yeah,
I don't.
I
can't
say
remember
that,
ever
but,
seeing
But
them.
what if they come out with one that's actually better? I don't know, in some way.
It won't happen, Nolan. It won't happen. Thank you, Tony, for your question. Our next question comes from Toast Points. He didn't leave his real name, so I'm going to call him Toast Points.
Sure, that's not his real name. Could be Toast Palms.
Could it just be Toast?
Toast Palms?
I'm going to call you Toast. If you could trade places with any one video game character for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? This would also entitle living their life throughout what happens in the game and afterwards, as well as gaining all their powers, abilities, party members, etc. Brad, I have faith that you have a good answer to this question.
Tough.
What? Are you serious?
I would say
God damn it, Brad.
Well, where's my list?
Right in front of you?
Goofy from Kingdom Hearts.
No.
What? You're in this fucking universe with like Final Fantasy characters and Tron characters, and you're a talking dog.
Who was also a knight?
Yeah, he was a knight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go-
he wasn't just a knight. He was like the knight captain.
You go swim under the sea with like.
I did play that sweet Ghostbusters video game. Can I just say I like to be Venkman from the Ghostbusters?
If you trade places, does that mean the video game character would enter the real world?
I guess that kind of implies it would, yeah.
Whoa.
So Peter Venkman would be in our world now. If I took his
I'm gonna have
place,
to go
y'all
to
would
your-
have
but
the
that's
real Peter
fucking
Venkman.
lame. There's not even ghosts in our real world, so what would he do? Nothing.
It'd be Bill Murray is what he would do.
Do World of the Psychics.
I would.
TV show.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I might be a lady. I don't know. Someone in chat said I would be a lady.
No specific lady, but you'd be a lady.
Maybe like the waitress from Cake Mania. Just making cakes all day.
I'd just be that little miner from Miner Dig Deep.
Oh no!
And just dig forever until I found that giant
I'd be that
diamond.
crazy motherfucker from Hotline Miami. That's what I'd
But that's
do.
so dangerous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why.
You die so easily.
Yeah. You just last like 30
All right,
seconds.
let's be honest. I'd be Dante from the new DMC.
What? But that
Forever?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to do that forever.
But your world would be so saturated that it hurt your eyes.
I think you need glasses or something, or sunglasses or something. I don't know.
Probably sunglasses, right? In that world.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next question. which comes from Catherine.
You know who's screwing the pooch? Fucking Ninja Theory. What terrible PR.
What? Why?
Yeah, that's true.
You haven't been following them on Twitter?
No, I have.
Oh, it's been pretty funny. They're like, oh, and official Xbox Magazine UK gave DMC a 9 out of 10, and Xbox Magazine tweeted them, actually, we haven't even gone to print yet. And Ninja Theory's like, oh, sorry, my bad.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good.
I wonder what score they actually give it.
They're like, changing that to a 6.
Go ahead and dock that a few points now.
There's been a lot of... I'll just say this. There's been a lot of UK reviews out there. Ninja Theory is a UK developer. I'm just saying, take those with a grain of salt, usually.
Like a salt lick of salt.
Yeah.
Noted, Brad. Noted. Catherine Fidelma in chat. I think her name is Fidelma in chat. Congratulations on reaching another milestone. Let's see. Anyway, what I want to know is, what is your go-to game when you are feeling down? Had a bad day or just want to forget your worries? I used to pop in Fable 3 just to bash away the blues, or I would sing badly with lips... Wait.
Lips number 1 hit
Sorry, I didn't
Skyrim.
I misread that. I was like, sing badly with lips.
Lips.
Big old lips.
I forgot about the game
The
Lips.
game Lips.
Number 1. Lips number 1. Okay. But now I have Minecraft. She has Minecraft now. She's found Minecraft. I can see this could be this year's go-to game. Just want to thank you guys and gals for your dedication and hard work. You have kept this old gal entertained with your humorous escapades. So, what game makes you feel happy? I will say this year,
That's tough.
I was having a particularly bad day, and I sat down and played The Unfinished Swan from beginning to end in one sitting. That game was pleasant. It really brightened my day.
Still haven't played that. I want to play that now. I think my typical go-tos before have been like Red Dead Redemption. Obviously, I just turn that on, run around. What else?
Kind of morbid to make you feel.
I don't...
Eh.
As far as...
The game doesn't have that make you
FTL.
Brad's like, I don't feel sadness.
My most
No.
recent one has been FTL. Anytime I'm just like, I come home from work and I just don't want to like deal with anything, I go in my room and just play FTL
That's a
for
good one.
hours.
But that... I don't. It's not necessarily games that I turn on when I'm feeling sad, but sometimes I'm just not in fucking mood to play anything new or old or just fucking... I don't want to play anything. Usually it happens like maybe like a week before a game I'm like super anticipating comes out, and I just don't want to deal with any bullshit. So like I'll have a game that I go to for that. Like no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I'll enjoy it. Usually it's something like Trials. Mm-hmm. Just because it's so like physically satisfying and you can kind of turn your brain off and just let your muscle memory take over.
Yeah.
That I can just sort of turn it on and play it for an hour or two, and it's just really satisfying. You know, while if you're doing levels that you like and not, you know, the extreme levels.
Cool.
Where you're like driving up the side of a wall.
I agree. Something you can zone out to. That's just kind of, like you said, muscle memory.
Yeah,
Maybe Techno Kitten Adventures.
we popped in Techno Kitten Adventure this weekend at a
Cause
party.
brain damage if you did that too much.
That game draws crowds no matter where you bust it out and blows people's minds.
Especially when you start playing on the Meat World.
Yes. Well, that's kind of like when I want to show someone that game, I take them straight to the Meat World. It's great. I like to zone out with Battlefield 3.
I'm trying to think. I mean, lately, like I've been playing Splunky. I guess when I've been in a bad mood.
Oh my god, you're making me nervous. Splunky's pretty good.
I mean, because I love the music. You know,
That's a stressful game though.
It depends on how you take it. Yeah, sometimes it'll stress me out, but sometimes I just like to. Oh, I died. Okay, I'll just try again.
No, you know what? I got another one. Assassin's Creed multiplayer. I get lost into that for hours. Like, I don't know what it is.
But can you play it any time?
The beginning of this year,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
The beginning of this year, one game I would play a lot of. I would just come home from school and be like, "Man, I got to do homework," but I'm not. And so I would play Gotham City Imposters.
That's a good one.
I had a lot of fun just jumping in that game and just messing around. Like,
Yeah, there's nothing quite like a good multiplayer game. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but when I want to play a game, but I also don't because I'm pissed off or something. I find a multiplayer
Well,
game.
they're easy to go back to because like you don't need to get the story is irrelevant. You can just jump in. Well, what are the controls again? Okay,
You can
there you
play
go.
one match or 15. You know,
If I had to pick one go-to game, though, I would probably say Flower.
Flower's a good
Flower
game.
calms
it's
my.
very zen.
It calms me.
I mean, if you want to go that way,
it usually puts me to sleep, which is
like
kind of
Journey,
cool.
something like that. I mean, any kind of like pretty looking simple game is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are way behind in chat. Some dude's talking about Logitech controllers, and
Chat was messed up.
Chat's been
the other
messed up,
day.
right?
Carlos is just not talking about FTL.
Okay, our next question.
Chat's just messed up.
Next
Like,
question. God damn it,
they'll-
Nolan.
So I can explain. They'll enter their message and it won't pop up for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Blue dude.
So yeah, it's just chat's messed up, probably.
Our next question. We got 3 more questions in this segment, and then we'll take a quick break. Faust from Missouri, Logic Puzzle in chat says, I noticed that you end each show with what you call the 4-player minute, where you each week you name something you are shameful of, something you are worried about, and something you are hyped for. What would you say, to the best of your memory, are your biggest shames, worries, and hypes from all the podcasts you've done? Holy shit!
Yeah, that's a
God,
big
I
question.
don't.
Well, no, how about just in general? Like the ultimate gaming career shame,
I mean,
sweat, and hype.
Mine's easy. My shame is what I mentioned a while ago. Is that I literally I was this close to being a casual gamer for life. If I hadn't bought the N64 and picked up Mario 64, I probably wouldn't. I don't even know if I'd be playing games to this day, like regularly.
Versus like what, a PlayStation?
I don't even. I mean, I got my N64 before the PlayStation.
See, I have a feeling that if my parents actually got that Nintendo 64 that Christmas instead of a PlayStation, I would be a completely different person. Well, no, I mean, it's the whole butterfly effect. I think if I got, a different pair of shoes when I bought shoes in second grade, I probably would be a completely
I'm just
different
thinking, in
person.
what regard? Do you think you'd be a Nintendo fanboy? Because I'm pretty sure it's kind of hard to be a Nintendo.
I think I probably
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
be
a gamer?
I wouldn't be a gamer because
Really?
back when I got when I wanted that 64, it was just because everyone was excited about the 64.
Yeah.
I played a lot of games on the Super Nintendo, but it was very like off and on, very fleeting. I'd be into a game and then I probably wouldn't be that serious about games for another year. It was that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I got my PlayStation and the games were a lot cheaper and I played like Final Fantasy 7 or whatever, and I started playing like all the Japanese RPGs that I sort of got really serious into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I honestly think it'd be a different situation.
Because I mean, my first console was a Super Nintendo, and then I got an N64, even though I wanted a PlayStation. And I didn't have a PlayStation for the longest time, but then I finally got one, and then I think I became more of a gamer once I got a PlayStation.
Yeah.
But
I
I
remember
don't think,
scaring my dad because the first game I got for the PlayStation was Resident Evil 2. I think I was kind of young.
First game I got was Final Fantasy VIII.
Monster
No,
Rancher.
that was
4.
my second game. In fact, I think I got Resident Evil 2 the same week I got Final Fantasy 8. But I played Resident Evil 2 first, and my dad. I think I freaked my dad out.
Well, let's get back on the top.
Yeah.
I got an ultimate like fuck you. Like do you have a entire industry wide fuck you? How about fuck you to Lords of Shadow? No, I guess that's not my ultimate fuck you. But God, that's tough. I feel like that would be a great question to think about and answer for the next show.
Come back later.
Well, I think I know what my biggest sweat is. And it's for something that's already fallen through and turned into a big pile of shit. But I remember when I first was like starting to really get big into games, like when I was in middle school and things like that, is when they Blizzard started talking about StarCraft Ghost.
Oh,
And I was
shit.
super fucking into
remember
StarCraft
that
at the
too.
time.
So was I.
I thought that was an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Like, I followed that game for like 4 years or something like that. I remember it was going downhill and they weren't making it, and then the team that was developing it was pulled from it, and they sold the game to a different developer to finish it off, and they started adding like multiplayer stuff into it, and I thought, like, for so long I thought this game will come out this year. This game will come out this year. I know it will.
reminds
For
me of
the
something
original
else.
Xbox and PS2. Like, it'll be out this year.
I remember that.
And that was the first, like, I think that was my first experience with like the industry side of things, like the disappointment of it when companies are hyping up products.
The life-crushing realization
Yeah.
that your most anticipated game of all time is never going to happen.
Right. That was the first big one for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fuck you to Jeremy for showing me what a mud was.
Yeah, fuck that guy. We have to hear about that.
And
all the
I
time.
think as far as shameful secrets go, I think I could just sort of look back on like the games I never actually finished that are like in my top 10 or 20. Like Morrowind, I've never actually finished Morrowind.
So I was my biggest shame. I wasn't thinking of something that's in my top 10 or 20, but Final Fantasy IX. I started that game 3 times, and I got to the 3rd disc 3 times, and I have never been to the 4th disc of that game.
Doesn't matter. It
sucks.
sort of falls apart towards the
But
end.
I know people say it falls apart. People say it's not the best, but the thing is, I've been right there, and I just haven't like gone that extra.
It's a great
couple
first
hours
3
to
discs.
finish.
That's for damn sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like I've never gotten. I mean, the reason I got a PlayStation and I became a bigger gamer was because of Final Fantasy, and my friend showed me Final Fantasy VIII, and I wanted to play it, and then 9 came out, and I was like, yeah, and it's been what, like 15 years?
Something. I don't know if it's been that
No,
long.
not
That's
quite
close.
that long.
I'm gonna say my
maybe.
biggest hype of all time was for Final Fantasy X, because coming out, Final Fantasy IX to this day is still my favorite Final Fantasy, but the hype that I experienced for 10, like leading up to it, like that's one of those games I thought about it during the day when I was supposed to be working on schoolwork. I would come home every day and jump online or read magazines, articles, whatever I could find about that game. I would eat up screenshots, and I remember the first screenshot they ever showed where Titus had black hair, and I was like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. And then it came out, and I ended up loving that game too. And the soundtrack's freaking amazing. But man, I don't think I've ever been more hyped about a game than I was for Final Fantasy X.
I don't know. My most hyped game is maybe 7. Final Fantasy 7. Yeah.
I'd say we move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of mine, but it's.
I think we did a pretty good job of answering, considering
How do you
broad
name
that
your
question
biggest
was.
sweat of all time? What was the thing you're most worried for or worried about?
Chris
That
had a
was
good one.
StarCraft Ghost was mine.
Yeah.
I feel like I have an equivalent of your StarCraft Ghost, but I can't think of what it would be.
I mean, back in the day, well, it was when my first anime was Cowboy Bebop, and they made a game in Japan, a Cowboy Bebop game, and I heard it was bad and blah blah blah, but I wanted to play it so bad, and they never brought it to America, and I was just
Is it for PS2, right?
PS2, yeah.
Oh, I can get it.
I mean, it's
You can-
probably not going to be the same. now.
You can fulfill Nolan's
Can you
lifelong
make my
dream.
dream come true?
Oh my god, this is getting weird.
It's probably
Okay,
going to be horrible, though. It's probably going to be a horrible, horrible game, and I'd rather have it that shining game in the distance,
Yeah.
than play it and have it be shit.
okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. We got 2 more subscriber questions. We can answer these fairly quickly. I like this question. Taylor from San Diego, Zarls in chat, says, Quantic Dream has 2 previous releases that most people are familiar with: Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit and Heavy Rain.
Wait.
What?
And Omicron.
I mean,
The Nomad Soul.
Yes, but he said these are 2 that everyone kind of is aware of.
I
In
don't know
both
that
of
many
the-
people are aware of Indigo Prophecy.
In both of these games, there are scenes depicting a female lead character engaged in either a nude shower scene or a sexual encounter featuring glorious pixelated boobies. Beyond Two Souls comes out later this year, starring Ellen Page, giving her voice and likeness over the development. What are our chances?
None at all.
I was reading this question.
Moving on.
I know, there's no chance. I was reading this question, they're like, where is he going with this? And then I saw the final question, I was like, oh. No chance? You think, Brad? No?
Hey,
Anything?
it could happen.
What are their chances they'll finally stop making, games that aren't completely sexist towards women?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe pretty good this time, since they got a real
I-
main character.
I bet you at some point in this game she's in her underwear at least.
Probably. Maybe some hot pants.
Maybe,
Hey, it's bigger than that's more.
Whatever
than
happened to
underwear.
hot pants?
maybe
Hot
some,
pantsuit.
maybe some yoga pants.
What?
You're not a big fan of yoga pants? Okay, this is getting weird.
Oh,
Let's move on. Sorry.
Nick's showing his true self over here.
Maybe I am.
Do they have to say juicy on the butt?
No, they have to say pink. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Last subscriber question comes from Michael Victor.
I hope she's pregnant. Juno, am I right?
Yeah. Next question.
Michael Victus Unis in chat says,
Mike,
this is kind of a general question, so just think about it for a second. This February will mark 5 years of casting for you guys. Looking back, what would you have done different, if anything? Played more games.
There was a lot of technical shit that we could have done
Early?
a lot
Sooner
earlier
than
if we
later.
had just known. Like, oh, if I just plug this into here, all of a sudden this shit works way better. You know, like, yeah, just a lot of stupid shit like that. Just not really understanding that, oh, if I upgrade my internet and run it at this bit rate, all of a sudden things don't look like shit. You know, and just going for a long time on busted technology.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big one. I think going for so long without like, I think the closest thing we ever had to like a set schedule was like we had settled on a night we would record the podcast, and this is the first time we're making a solid attempt to kind of be more predictable as far as our coverage
Our
goes.
podcast used to be just like, we're going to do it on Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday this week.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've been pretty consistent with that, and
We've been going consistent for a while.
We've tried to be pretty consistent with our broadcasting on Twitch TV and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think those are probably my biggest things. Maybe I'm sure there's stuff we could have done different at trade shows that would have. The thing is, wait, okay, say it, Brad. Go.
Charles in chat says, I spent a lot of time on that question and Brad had to make me feel scummy about it. Maybe you should feel scummy. Maybe you should feel it.
I liked your question, Charles. I really liked your question. So I don't know. Anything else you want to add to that last question about what we might do differently?
I mean, I've only been here for like 2 years.
Oh, it's been longer than that. I think you've been here for at least 3, right?
Yeah, 3 years, I guess. Yeah, in February it'll be 3 years for me.
Exactly.
So I guess in the past I didn't really participate as much or broadcast as much, and now that I finally have the ability to, it's much more enjoyable for me, I guess.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, maybe I would have got a broadcast set up sooner.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
nice.
maybe so.
Well,
maybe
that was
so.
mainly a money issue, so
Yeah.
there's really nothing I could have done about
Now we're
that.
making money and we can do that kind of stuff.
But we're making money?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Barely. About 65 cents a day. Please subscribe.
Speaking of subscribers, before we close out this segment, we're going to go ahead and draw 2 names out of the hat. Brad, will you do the honors of picking
Sure.
2 random names out of the hat? The way this is going to work, we'll draw the names. I'll write them down. In the next day, 24 hours or so, I will email you. I will go in order as they are drawn, and I will give you first pick off of the list of Steam codes.
I can't get any.
Our first winner is...
First winner is... Oh, man. This doofus doesn't even hang around anymore. He totally abandoned us for Giant Bomb. I saw him pop into chat today. All of a sudden when I'm doing my new segment, Grinding with Brad, and I'm looking at him just like, where did this punk bitch come from?
Who is it?
Riding MGS.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Ryden MGS. He is our first winner.
Get him one of them like fucking hats on XBLA or something.
Well, we'll be contacting you in the next couple days, Ryden, so you can pick your prize.
Riding
Sorry.
MGS.
One more.
Oh,
Come on.
okay.
One more name. We're drawing a name. You could be a winner.
Kings and Presidents.
Kings and Presidents, thank you for submitting a question. I will be contacting you to pick a name or pick a code off of our Steam list. Wow, you got shifty eyes, Chris. I'm sorry. And, and with that,
I don't trust you!
and with that, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll do another group of questions. Sorry, don't mind my screensaver.
You know that actor that has shifty eyes?
Yeah.
That fat bald dude? Fat white bald dude?
Oh, white bald dude.
He's a white bald dude.
Oh, the guy
who's
from
fat.
the guy from Constantine.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like any time there's a movie with the guy who's like,
The guy from Constantine who was trying to drink and he
I
couldn't
know what you're
drink.
talking about. Is
yeah,
that him?
like how does he become an actor? How do you become an actor when you have that thing?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You just put it on your
He's got the
resume.
twitchy- he's got the twitchy eye.
I can shift my eyes really
it-
fast.
But that's the thing. Is it a talent that he has, and now he's been typecasted into always doing that because he's not like some sort of, handsome actor or anything. Maybe it's like, well, we know that fat dude that can do that.
Well,
thing with his
sometimes
eyes.
they want funky looking guys for roles. Not
I
every
know.
person in a movie.
But what I'm
is
saying
all
is
pretty.
that like a defect that ails this guy? Like, can he not
his
do-
facial features.
Does he have to do that? I'm saying, or is it a trick that
I
he
guess
does?
you could get plastic surgery.
God damn it!
Okay.
Is it a talent or is it the way he is? I want to know
Inquiring minds want to know.
because I've never seen him in anything where he wasn't doing that.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Brad, for that derailment. We'll be back in just a minute, guys. We'll answer a bunch more viewer questions. We'll draw more names at the end of the segment, so don't go anywhere, guys.
Well, you said shifty eyes.
Yeah, he did. He was shifting his eyes.
Yeah.
You can't prove that.
Next question comes from me. Hey, Nick, when are we going to start asking questions again?
Give me the goddamn
That's a
question.
good question, Brad.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We have a lot of questions, so we're just going to
Rapid fire. Let's go.
We're going to kind of rapid fire, and we're going to spend a lot of time on each one. First question comes from Tiki421. That's the only name he gave me. Earlier this year, a PC version of Dark Souls was released. As we all know, the port was poorly made. Despite that, the content was quite good. However, my new concern is the sequel.
Summarize, Nick.
It's subtext or context. Dark Souls 2, which was announced early December. Do you think the PC version will be fine-tuned before being released, or will From Software's inexperience with PC...
Their
as a
PC
platform
version for the
affect-
sequel will be a lot better. They'll learn from their mistakes.
You think so?
Yeah, they have to. The PC version did really well.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my question. I don't know. Didn't see what the commercial success of the Dark Souls PC version was.
They literally made that because of people begging for a PC version. So
Yeah.
they're just like, fine, fucking here it is. Shut up. But next time around, they're probably going to
Well, if they're
be
doing
a lot smarter
if they're
about
doing
it.
a day one launch,
Yeah,
it's
now they
probably
know they
going to
have
be a
a-
lot more polished.
So moving on to another question he had. This is going back to the THQ thing. On December 19th, THQ announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. How do you think this will affect some of THQ's most popular titles and series, such as Saints Row, Darksiders, Company of Heroes, etc.?
Depends on where they end up.
Yeah.
I mean, right now there's already
There they
talk
go.
about other publishers shopping around and showing interest in them. I'm just trying to imagine, what would it be like if EA all of a sudden owned Saints Row?
Well, it also depends on is Volition going to remain intact? Do you think like what happens to all the people who worked on those games? Is if EA buys Saints Row, are they going to hire
think it
Volition to do it? You know,
I think it still depends on who buys it because
they're not buying
like,
teams; they're just buying IP.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I think.
EA might buy the IP and be like, "Hey, yeah, fuck y'all, bye."
Does THQ...
So, I mean, I think it just really depends on.
Or
who
what if Rockstar or 2K buys Saints Row just to kill any competition against GTA?
and not do anything with it?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Or
It's possible.
Yeah.
The
Or
thing is-
Nintendo buys Darksiders and you're like,
But then why would-
thanks for Zelda, back bitches.
Why wouldn't they just still keep making Saints Row, and so they would be getting the profits from both?
Because you got to pump money into both.
Double dipping.
Yeah, you got to cost money to develop a game.
The thing is-
it's THQ wouldn't have gone under if they were making super successful games.
Warner Brothers also has been showing interest in it, and Warner Brothers has a history of kind of buying up...
Yeah, but they actually hired Ed Boon in his studio to make Mortal Kombat.
So what if they do the same thing with Volition? They buy up Volition and the team behind that and tell them to make Saints
I mean,
Row.
I think that's a potential.
That would be a big win
interesting
for
buyer.
Warner Brothers.
That's true.
Maybe.
But the actual the companies that they own aren't part of the auction that they're doing.
No, the auction is only IP.
Just the IP.
I'm not so concerned about Saints Row. I'm more concerned about is Red Faction going to find a buyer that anyone wants anything to do with?
Yeah.
Because even Red Faction, THQ was said they were kind of done with.
What if if someone bought up Red Faction, it would end up being somewhere other than Volition. I think
How about?
it'd be in the hands of maybe something. I don't know.
Yeah. So somebody tweeted me like,
What if Dice made a Red Faction?
no. Someone tweeted me. Avalanche is not. Does somebody own Avalanche?
I don't know.
I don't know. But what if Avalanche worked on a Red Faction game, the creators of Just Cause?
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
That would be cool.
But wait, who's gonna buy WWE?
Well, that's an interesting question. I could see somebody like EA or Activision. I just hope Activision. Well, no, that's the thing. It's still like a pretty decently big license. It's just that the games have been so mediocre for so long. I bet that is one that people.
Pretty sure the whole concept has been pretty mediocre for so long.
No, I know, but
A great wrestling game's still a.
But that's the thing. Back in 2 generations ago, wrestling games were a lot of fun. Maybe someone can make them fun again.
Wrestling was a lot more fun back then.
You're right, but also playing the games was still fun. But I don't know.
Next question.
Yep.
From Funky Lounge.
No one's gonna buy Metro.
I heard Brad saying something. I heard Brad saying some time ago that he would like to see Rockstar do a medieval RPG. My question is, what other big or small studios would you like to see do something like this? Something they just don't do at all, and you think that they can nail perfectly?
I'd like to see Platinum Games make a Castlevania game.
You know, would it be a 3D Castlevania game?
I would like to see Platinum Games make a Devil May Cry game.
I would like to see Ninja Theory make Devil May Cry. You know,
You just want that fucking game.
No,
you don't give a shit about Ninja Theory.
you know what's funny? I think I would just like to see. I would like to see Ninja Theory
Make
do
something original.
do a Silent Hill game, or I mean, yeah, something original would be nice. But if they're gonna do another IP, I would like to see Ninja Theory take a stab at Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been trying to give that to a Western developer for a long time, and I think they really came close with Vatra. But I think Ninja Theory has a real talent for.
Do you think Naughty Dog could do an RPG?
Yeah, why not?
Could.
I mean, like I'm saying, like, what do you think it? I mean, a lot of character development stuff. Something would be good there.
You know what? Speaking of Naughty Dog, I would like them to just do something a little more open. Like, think of Jack 2 and Jack 3. I would like them to take one of their, more realistic
Less linear.
IPs and make it a lot less linear because...
That'd be good.
I think Naughty Dog stands tall as one of the best creators of new IP of this generation. Like each time they've done that has been. I mean, we don't know how The Last of Us has turned out yet.
Now I want to play some.
But my
Uncharted.
only assumption right now is that Last of Us is going to be pretty sweet.
Probably.
So it's at the very least, it's intriguing.
When does
as
that
hell.
come out?
It's in May.
I got 3 Uncharted's to play before May.
Wait, what?
I'll get ready.
You know
Oh,
what?
I thought you were saying you would never play. I was like, wait. Sorry.
You know what I'm hoping?
I think my mind just like melted out of my ears or something.
When you look at Last of
Gross.
Us, at a first glance, you're like, no, that's a lot like Uncharted, like in terms of the gunplay and stuff. But if you think about it, when they first did Jack, all I was thinking back in the day was like, no, this is just Crash again. They're just doing another Crash. But that quickly deviated and became something much different. I hope that happens with Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next question comes from Adrian, SSA316 from the UK.
We didn't answer that last one.
What?
I
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Oh.
You just finished
Answer.
answering.
I mean, ask.
No matter how good
I will answer, Nolan.
no matter how good endings are to games, there are usually always people out there who moan about the ending like it's the most important part of the game. How important would you say endings really are, and what makes a good ending to you? Also, how do you feel about endings that are left open or don't resolve every known
I think it
plot
depends
thread?
on it.
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I think the people who are moaning and bitching, there's fan fiction. Go read some of that. You'll be pleased. I think the way games end, it's because the developer wanted to end that way, unless it's a game like Mass Effect, when it ends all poopy. Mass Effect 3 to be
it depends
exact.
on the type of game it is. I mean, like, the reason people freaked out about Mass Effect's ending is because the entire, like, story, not just the story, but the
entire game.
The mechanics of
The
those
concept
games
of the game.
were the decisions you were making throughout the series were based on, like when I was making decisions throughout these games, I was like, oh, well, that's going to clearly impact, the story in a big way, like down the road. I was making my decisions based on that, not just how I was feeling in any given moment.
Yeah.
So for that to not culminate into something that's, satisfying, that's somewhat, reflecting of,
Well, it culminated into nothing, which is what made it so horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
But I mean, I think games like you just finished Mark of the Ninja, and I thought that had a really good ending because I played the game twice and I saw both endings.
I literally turned to Nolan. I was like, "Did I make the right choice?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Because they leave it so open. He finished it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You make your decision, and that's
that
it.
too.
It's not. Was it wrong? Was it right? It's not wrong or right. It's just that's your decision.
I think a good ending is one that makes you think about it after it's done. It shouldn't be one of the it's like when you watch a movie and the credits roll and you're like, okay, well that was fun, and you just walk away and you don't end up thinking like it's great when you go to a movie like Inception, like when you're sitting there watching and you see that top spinning and then it cuts, and I was thinking about that for the fucking rest of the week. I was
Spoiler
like,
alert if you've never seen Inception, by the way.
that's not really. I mean, out of context, that makes no sense.
No, open-ended endings are great. Usually,
mean-
like well, it's not really a spoiler, but The Walking Dead was a little bit open at the very, very end,
Yeah.
and that was really great.
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
really great.
I mean, yeah, that's that. Like trying to, the idea of figuring out what that ending meant is what's kind of driving me to be excited about the second season. I mean, I love the entire season of The Walking Dead, but without that kind of open-ended ending, I don't know if I would necessarily be itching to play the next one.
Well, no, the openness has nothing to do with. Well, I think if anything, they shouldn't continue on directly with this, story or character, because I think an actual ending, like that's it to that story. You'll never hear any more about it. The fact that it was open-ended was still really good.
I kind of want something different, but I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to.
Yeah, well, don't.
Yeah.
Let me just say,
Let's just move on to the next question.
I agree.
I was also going to say
The next question.
Silent Hill 2 has a really great ending, and that's kind of not open-ended, but it wasn't necessarily super exciting, but it made me think really hard, and that's why I love that ending. Our next
hard things. Moving on.
Next question, Kevin from Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia, Canada. Wing 2K5 in chat. He says, gaming related in 2013. Name one thing you were looking forward to. One thing you were not looking forward to. I was going to say let's avoid software because we didn't really talk much about hardware or anything like that in the last show in the 2013.
Let's avoid software.
Don't talk. We talked about all the games coming out in 2013 last show. So let's talk about hardware. We didn't say anything about the new consoles coming out. We didn't say anything about trade shows, predictions, or anything like that. What's anything? Just real simple. What's got you excited?
The Cyberpunk trailer on Thursday.
Oh shit! Is that on Thursday?
Yeah.
Fuck yes! I'm excited about that. I'm also excited. I mean, the rumors regarding the Valve console.
There's not rumors.
It was confirmed.
Yeah, yes, they're
showing pictures
CES,
of it and talking
they're
about
talking about the console. It's
I'm excited
a console.
about that.
It's there.
It's a little box.
Well, then I'm excited about the Steam box,
And it's not a console. It's essentially a tiny PC.
that has me excited because
That's kind of like a console.
But you're not a PC gamer.
I'm a console gamer. What could have me more excited about the opportunity to be a PC gamer on a console?
Because it's not as,
Shut up.
it's
Shut
not,
up.
It's not $1,000 PC or anything.
I don't need it to be. I just need to. I want to be able to experience those games that are exclusive to Steam or PC
Like indie games.
on a console.
But you can on a PC.
But I don't want to. Let's not have this conversation, Nolan. Let's not have this conversation.
So you just want consoles to be as good as PCs?
No, I want to be able to play those games on a console. I don't care about I'm not even talking about it from a technical standpoint. I want to be able to play things like Hotline Miami without having to go sit in front of a computer and play it.
I can sit in front of the TV and play it.
Oh my god, I know. Just stop.
With a controller.
Nolan. Just stop, Nolan. That's
Okay.
I'll kill you. Anyone else want to answer this question? 2013. We got new consoles possibly coming.
I know.
out
I'm
the
excited to hear about the new consoles. I mean, I don't know what.
I mean, in all likelihood, we'll be hearing about them at E3 this year.
I mean, I was excited about the Steam box too, but right before I came over here, was just reading an article from one of the developers over at Steam who said that they weren't making any announcements about that this year.
Well,
See, I
you're
was
late to the party too. Then
Yeah. Maybe was the article from like a month ago?
No, it was posted.
every
today.
article that I've seen so far has said
they're really
rumor.
late.
in front of it.
well, probably no one. It's not a rumor. Maybe.
Well,
they're
I mean,
making
not a
announcements.
rumor that the console existed. Like everyone knows that they're working on it, but not that they were like
Gonna say anything.
do
official
any
about it.
release or anything this year.
Well, no, and then I mean it's coming out this year, but they have a console. Like they showed it. I mean, it might just be the conceptual console, but it's a tiny little box. It has like an HDMI out, some USB ports, like a
Cool.
All right. Consoles. Sony and Microsoft announcing new consoles at E3 most likely. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to go to. I'm excited to go
Do
to
you
PAX
think
Boston
anything's
for
going
the
to
first
happen
time.
with handhelds this year? Like new handhelds or something like that?
I hope
New
not.
handhelds? No. I think
I hope not. I'm just saying.
I'm actually excited about E3 for the specific purpose of seeing what Sony and Nintendo do with their handhelds.
Can you fix that?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to distract you. I meant to change that during the break, and I didn't.
Probably should have.
But, yeah, now you got me all distracted, Nolan.
I'm excited for.
I want to see how they follow up with their handheld. I want
Metal
to
Gear
see
Rising Revengeance.
Thought we weren't allowed to talk about software.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the new NVIDIA handheld.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God, that's weird.
How is it weird? It looks interesting.
No, it's weird because it came out of nowhere. That's all I'm saying.
But that's a good thing that it comes out
No,
of
I'm not
nowhere
saying-
when you're not. The new NVIDIA handheld's like a little. It almost looks like an Xbox controller, and it has a screen on it, and the screen can play like almost like Android type games, Android based games. It has like a quad core processor or something like that. But then you have the ability over Wi-Fi to stream games from your PC to the little screen. So it's almost like the Wii U gamepad where you can go into another room and play it. So you could be playing Hotline Miami or something like that, any PC
Yeah.
game on, or it has to do with like NVIDIA like based software or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah,
Brad, you ready? This next question's for you.
Ready.
Luis Gustavo from Brazil, Esquilo13 in chat says, "Here comes the." He prefaces it by saying, "Here comes the question."
oh god, here it
Here
comes.
comes the question. After watching Brad playing some Hotline Miami, I actually got into it. Finished the game around 5 times, and man, never gets old. What do you expect from Hotline Miami 2, and what did you enjoy most about Hotline Miami? And he's specifically asking you, Brad.
The music. I like the music. The
Music
best,
was
I
good.
guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Expect from a sequel. I feel like it's hard to evolve that into something that it isn't. That isn't a lot like what it is right now.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be very similar, especially in concept. I mean,
Probably.
I think the most interesting things they could do with it are going to be like, wasn't there a lot of like interesting like mindfucky narrative stuff that went on in that game?
Well, but I feel like that game also sort of made a statement that doesn't really evolve from there. Like this story exists to make a statement about video games, kind of like Spec Ops or
Yeah.
whatnot. It's you don't really evolve the story from there. It's just I would rather see. I don't know. I mean, I say I would rather see something different from that developer, but that Cactus guy makes like a video game a day or something. Like, he's made like hundreds of games. So I don't know. I will say like Hotline Miami got a little weird towards the end in terms of like gameplay mechanics as well. So maybe I'm not as in love with it as this guy, but it is a really cool game.
Cool. Moving on.
Next question comes from Julian
Stealth
El Rey.
level
He's from
suck.
Argentina. Says, do you guys think that the current generation still has a long way to go before, quote-unquote, needing to move on to the next one? How much do you guys think that the next generation will jump forward in terms of technology from the last one? In other words, where will there be the most noticeable enhancements? Go.
I mean,
Like this is about it.
Yeah,
I
well,
think they're
I mean-
getting to the end of the wire.
I don't really. I mean, for this generation,
For this generation,
I think we've
consoles,
just
I
kind of
think
recently
so.
hit our peak as far as technology in this era goes, but there's so much that can still be done with
that's
it.
what I want to say. Like, yes, the technology has reached its peak, but just because new games aren't going to look any prettier doesn't mean you need to come out with new graphics and new like all this great. I mean, make a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't. I mean, the PS2 is just now ended its era.
I would play 10
I
more.
mean, I think from a technical standpoint, you're correct, but I honestly I feel like from just a business consumer side of things, like people are getting like everyone's always talking about the next new consoles.
But
like,
as soon as
people are getting bored with
a
the current
month after
technology.
the current
like,
any current console's going to come out, they're still going to be talking about the next one. I mean, that's all people want to talk about is what can they do
And
now?
the day the
the fact
PS4
that
hits,
we're
someone's
always-
going to walk in and make the joke, huh, can I pre-order the PS5?
Yep,
And I'm going to hit that person.
you're going to be working on that
I'm gonna
day.
curse their fucking heart.
Probably not.
But I mean, also in the sake that in the development cycle for the console, we are hitting that period where we're always bitching about everything being sequels and franchises and stuff like that. No one is making new games, and it's always been when new consoles come out, developers feel more at ease with taking those risks on new IPs. That gets more new franchises out there. You know,
That is true.
I mean, we don't
Well,
have to keep playing Mass Effects and Assassin's Creed
But I think that's
and
the,
Call
that's,
of
that's
Duty.
the developer's fault. They shouldn't. Oh well, we're just not going to do this till the next gen console comes out. Make it work now because you could make a good game now. The reason they just want to make that extra buck. They just want to be like, oh well, if we wait 3 more months to release this game, we can release it on the current gen and the next gen. I mean, I understand that they want to make money, but that's stupid.
Not just that, but like
Stupid
a
man,
new
that's
IP
the word.
on a shiny new console sells a lot better because people are looking for shiny new things. You know.
That is true. But then again, also, you have that enticement. It's like new hardware is out, new technology is out, and look, there's a new Call of Duty on it. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my god, next generation Call of Duty, holy shit! So, I would say, if you asked me a few years ago, I would say maybe the new IP is front loaded, kind of towards the front or the earlier part of a generation of consoles. But I don't know. I think we might see a lot of sequels. When this stuff comes out.
We should move on.
Okay. I was also going to just bring up interface. I think a lot of the enhancements. I don't think graphically we're going to go super far. I think a lot of the improvements are going to be with. I mean, we will. I mean, there will be enhancements obviously, and it'll look nice, but it won't be like. I don't think it'll be like going from PS2 to PS3. I think it'll be more like I don't know.
PS3 to PS3.5.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe a little more than that.
I'm this is a guesstimate. I'm just gonna say I think a lot of the user interface, especially with the PS3, a lot of people have always complained about the user interface there. I think a lot of the online services are going to be improved. That kind of
Probably.
stuff.
Nintendo won't though.
Yeah, Nintendo won't. My friend,
Nintendo's already out.
a coworker today told me he got a Wii U and he was downloading the Batman Arkham City game like off their store and it was 19 gigabytes. I don't know.
Yeah, moving on.
I was like, if that's true, that's retarded.
Also, I don't consider the Wii U a next-gen console.
I don't either. Max, who spells his name strangely, M-A-K-S. Kings and Presidents. Wait a second. Oh, I guess he put a question in here as well. The use of animals as pets in video games has been... Oh, wait, you're right, never mind. I was thinking... Sorry, my mind just melted for a second. Kings and Presidents from Cork, Ireland says... the use of animals as pets in video games has been quite widespread, such as in Torchlight 2, the Fallout series, and others. They more or less have the same purpose in those games, i.e. attacking and carrying items and such. Are there any features you would like to see implemented in games concerning the use of animals as pets or animals in general?
What else are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like fucking sit on your couch and beg for food and
I don't really think there's a
Well,
whole
I mean,
lot,
yeah,
whole lot extra they can do.
You could consider like the pawn system in Dragon's Dogma to be like a pet system.
Well, no,
I'm thinking more along those lines.
That's what I was thinking at first when I was reading the question earlier, like someone that goes along with you, but he was specifically saying animals. So I mean, if it's specifically an animal, yeah, they can't do much. They can fetch and carry and do a trick or something. They can't do a whole lot, but that's not saying that's bad. I like when that's there. It's nice to have that, kind of companion going with you.
I don't even necessarily need them to do anything. I think the most important, sometimes the most impactful thing they can do in the game
love you.
is like create like an emotional bond with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if they're just there with you and then something happens to them or you have to like help that, like you would kind of naturally
think of Aggro
develop
from Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, exactly. Like my
You gotta go up and pet him.
my heart stopped when he fell.
Or like in A Boy and His Blob when there was a button just to hug your blob.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that kind of stuff I think is the most interesting. I think it's way more interesting mechanically than having them like attack and stuff
I
like
think
that.
they need to work on doggy facial expressions though, if they're really gonna
That's next
create
gen.
an
That's
emotion.
what was the biggest improvement is in doggy facial expressions.
Well, the dogs in the new gen consoles will poop, and you have to clean up after them.
Okay,
They did that in Nintendogs.
So this next question is from
and
Nathan.
Tamagotchis.
Next question is
I'm talking
from,
about think of like Fable or something when you have a dog running around
Nice
with you.
steamy doof. Or like you see
And
your
if-
dog like cough up something disgusting.
And if you don't pick it up, there's going to be you're going to get a ticket.
oh my god. Next question. I hate you guys.
Like Castle Guard or something.
Next question comes from Nathan from Ohio. Kakashi 1090 in
Watch
chat.
what you're
I'm
saying.
sorry. I'm gonna read this question. I'm gonna laugh,
She.
but it's funny. You pointed this out in the card. We all have our shameful secrets in gaming, whether it be a bad game we actually enjoyed or an embarrassing story. But I have never heard of anyone in 4Player Network's shameful secrets of gaming. Do you have any shameful secrets related to games? And if so, what is your shameful secret?
What's so funny
Wait,
about that
what? He
question?
says we all. Wait.
He said he's never heard our shameful secret. I thought it was funny.
Shameful secrets in gaming.
We do a shameful secret at the end of every show, Brad. And he's saying he's never heard us do a shameful.
Fuck you. Moving on.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, I guess
Why don't you finish the
He only
show?
listens to the first half of the show, maybe.
He probably turns it off after the first segment. I'm just playing.
Well, if he's listening, we've already all mentioned shameful secrets.
Yeah,
So that
we-
answers his question. Moving on.
We did our biggest shameful secret of life before. Will
My shameful secret is not fucking your mama.
What if his mom was dead?
It's extra shameful.
All right, next question.
Will from San Jose, Zlade in chat, says, what are some of your favorite... This is kind of a strange question. What are some of your favorite movies that feature actors who claim to have performed their own stunts? As an aside, Wait, I'm going to stop there. What are some of your favorite movies that feature actors who claim to have performed their own stunts?
Wait,
Go.
what?
What are some of your
Any
favorite...
Jackie Chan movie.
What are some of your favorite movies that feature actors who claim to have performed their own stunts?
What does he mean by
That's so
claim?
weird.
I don't know. That's just what he put. Favorite movies where actors do their own stunts.
Oh, the fucking Mission Impossible 4, where apparently Tom Cruise was actually up
Climbing.
on that.
Have you seen the pictures
building
from
in Dubai?
Yeah, he actually like
He's
got up
sitting
there
on like the top of the antenna on the top of that building, just hanging out.
the very top.
It's
And
crazy.
the antenna's up his bunghole.
Probably Scientologist.
Yeah.
He's trying to get a message out to Xenu. Or whatever.
Chris,
Trapped in the closet.
That was a good movie, man.
that was a good movie.
Those gloves sucked. though.
Favorite movie where actors perform their own stunts?
I think Matt Damon did most of his own stunts in the Bourne trilogy.
Yeah. I don't know.
What about
Dude.
JCVD?
What?
JCVD.
JCVD.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Come on,
Oh.
Nick.
Universal Soldier.
Dude, I forgot about that guy until I saw him in a trailer
Wait,
last
Jean-Claude
weekend.
Van Damme isn't the Universal Soldier?
He is now.
Wait, what?
Was
See,
it?
they're doing a new movie starring Jean-Claude Van
really?
Damme called Universal Soldier.
Wasn't
which is-
that Dolph Lundgren?
The first one?
Which is what I saw a trailer for this weekend where I was like, he's still alive?
Yeah.
Right?
He's getting old. Anyway,
Right.
moving on.
You don't... Chris didn't answer.
Also, yeah, oh, you know what? Starship Troopers. I think Casper Van Dien did a
What?
bunch of his own stuff in that, didn't he?
Oh,
I love that movie. That movie's great.
Do you know who did his own stunts in that movie?
Who?
Denise Richards?
Yeah. Michael Ironside.
Oh, you
Oh,
mean...
yeah.
yeah.
They sucked his brains out.
You mean that
Oh, you
guy
mean the
with
guy
a very non-distinct voice
The guy from
that
Splinter
brings
Cell.
nothing to the series,
Wouldn't
video game
recognize.
series that he was in?
Moving on.
All right, Sid from Delaware. He's typo...
Hey guys, it's me, Sam Fisher. That's the new one. Just saying.
That sounds pretty much like it.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
mind
Deloise.
that.
No, leave that running. I'm curious.
Being fully grown... Okay. Sorry. I wasn't ready for that. Okay. Being fully grown men, coupled with the fact that you've been going for almost 5 years now, how much longer do you see yourselves doing this?
1,000,000 years.
Good answer,
Next
Brad.
question.
That sounds good. I like that.
1,000,000 years? Oh, this is the good question. This is my favorite
The
question.
good question.
This is my favorite
out
question.
Out of a sea of shitty questions, Nick?
He asked the best question, I think. And it is, you have the choice to live with a gorilla who knows sign language or a dog who sings lullabies. What do you choose? I'm sorry.
Gorilla.
I don't even know how he came up with that.
Say that again. A gorilla that sign language.
You have the choice of living with a gorilla who knows sign language or a dog who can sing lullabies.
Well, the problem is one of those is real and the other one's not.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
But is the dog singing lullabies in human speak, or is he just sort of like
Yeah,
Is it,
like
is it
barking like
constant or
Yeah.
do they just
Does the
sing,
dog
like-
ever shut
like,
up?
Maybe like when you lay down, the dog comes in and like lays next to you and sings a little lullaby, and you
Oh,
fall asleep.
but if he's like an
or
asshole,
is it
like,
always
please
singing?
get me some food. Where's my ball? That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Well, plus that doesn't exist. Gorillas that sign that does exist.
I think the question comes down to, do you want a companion or do you want someone you can communicate with?
Well, gorillas smell,
Can
and
you?
dogs don't smell as
No,
bad.
have you smelled Manty?
Dogs.
A stinky
Not as
little
bad
dog.
as a gorilla.
Have you smelled a gorilla, Brad?
No.
Yeah, gorillas.
Well,
are,
if you can teach a gorilla sign language, you can probably teach it to
like take a shower.
clean up after itself, right?
Oh, I'm not talking about poop. I'm talking about
I
general
mean
like
clean
BO.
up. I'm not specifically talking about poop either. Just like
So
keep
are we
itself
talking about
clean,
super intelligent
keep its
gorillas?
space clean.
I'm gonna go with the
Do
dog.
you have to be that intelligent?
I'm gonna go with the
Yes.
dog. I'm gonna go with the dog because if I pick the gorilla, I'm actually gonna have to learn sign language. That's
You
like
don't
too much
really
commitment.
have to.
And,
That-
and
only
I
if you
feel
wanna
like
talk
if we're
to
talking about communicating, if the dog can sing lullabies, then he can already speak English.
Can he though? Is it some dog language? You'd have to learn that dog language.
You think he's just barking out like?
Maybe he only sings in Mandarin, Brad. Now you have to learn Mandarin.
I think sign
Yeah,
language
what
would
if
be
what if the
easier.
gorilla knows sign language but only in Mandarin?
Do other countries
I
have
don't
sign
even
language?
like lullabies.
Yes.
I think it's
Like
universal.
if you had a
Yes,
gorilla
they do.
as a
That's why it's
friend,
American Sign Language.
if you had a gorilla as a friend, you can like beat people up and shit.
yeah. Or,
That's true.
you know, at least maybe
You can go
pick up the house while
Yeah,
you're
he
at
could
work
do
or
your
something.
chores.
Since
You could
apparently
go
I'm
ghost busting with him.
Since apparently I'm the only one that's familiar
Oh,
with the
like
story of the
that
chimpanzee who
fucking Funko-mation
Yeah.
Ghostbusters or whatever.
Since I'm apparently the only one familiar with the
I know
story of
the
the
chimp.
woman whose face was ripped off by a chimpanzee,
I'm familiar with it.
Was
But
it a
do
gorilla?
you know the story of the dog that ripped up that child? Because there's about 100 of those.
Yeah.
100,000, that is.
Yeah,
The chimpanzee, there was one. Did you hear about the
Probably
gorilla?
because
And we're
way
not
more
even
people that
talking
have
about
dogs.
chimpanzees.
The gorilla
We're talking about
who could do
gorillas.
sign language? And he had a kitten, and the kitten died, and the gorilla cried.
That's fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, I want the gorilla.
The kid,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even cry. For
the gorilla
that
sat
shit.
there and like pet the kitten and stuff. Like it was basically a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, gorillas are smart.
Fuck you guys. We're moving on. Ben from England, suck my duck in chat, says the continuing phenomenal sales of the Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed games seems to suggest that it isn't compulsory for a game series to reinvent itself to continue to be popular. How important do you think reinventions are for a game series to continue to do well? Do you think Activision's resistance to change will eventually mean the end of the Call of Duty series?
Apparently, it's not important at
Yeah.
all if you think you're 343. Oh, I will never forget "Suck My Duck's" awesome Katy Perry animated GIF.
Yes, I saw that GIF when I was.
Nick saw that gif a lot.
Yeah, I actually sat there
Late
for a
at
few minutes.
night.
You don't want to answer that question, Brad?
I just did. What did I say?
Something about-
I
oh no!
That was an accident.
I got some of that.
Ow!
Pass it over here, Brad. Pass it over here.
Sneeze into your sleeve.
I
not
was,
your
I was split second decision. I panicked.
No,
and I made the
I
wrong
saw you were
choice.
like,
I was distracted by the sneeze, and then I realized, oh no, this is coming. I got to do something.
you gotta sneeze that way. Where no one is.
Oh my god!
Next question.
Okay.
You don't want
sorry,
to?
no.
Okay.
Wait, what was this question?
I don't think games should. I think they should reinvent themselves. I think it's kind of sad that they don't. But there's a whole like group of Call of Duty Carlos fans that don't care if the game's been reinvented and they just want a new one.
Wait a minute.
Call of
Someone
Duty.
asked me a fucking question on YouTube that's very related to this, and they were like,
Why is Brad sounds like a hypocrite? He's always like Halo didn't change enough and Borderlands didn't change enough, and then Tomb Raider is changing and Hitman is changing, and he says that's bad.
but luckily, another YouTube commenter answered for me, so I didn't have to call this guy out on being an idiot.
That's good.
Okay. That's a good answer. I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it's important.
It wasn't even an answer, but okay.
I'll take it as an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I think it's important.
Wait,
Move on.
do you think that he had a point?
No,
Okay.
But the way you worded it, that is exactly how it happened.
Except
You did say that Borderlands didn't change enough and that Halo didn't change
you're
enough.
right. But let me ask you something.
But you're right. But
If Halo and Borderlands changes and become something
implemented
new
a
and
whole bunch of
exciting,
new systems that were totally broken and made the gameplay
No.
terrible, then yeah.
No,
that
what
would
I'm
be a
saying
negative
is
change.
if-
like
yeah, let's never take a chance because it could be bad. No, I'm saying if they did change, let's say they weren't even shooters anymore, we'd still have plenty of fucking first-person shooters.
that's true.
But you know what? If Hitman becomes like fucking Splinter Cell, there's nothing like Hitman. If fucking Tomb Raider just becomes like Uncharted, all of a sudden that thing that was Tomb Raider is gone because no one else is doing that.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want them
Right.
changing. You know what happened? Castlevania became a God of War cloning. You know what we don't have anymore? Fucking
It's not that they're changing, it's that they're changing and becoming worse than they were before. Essentially, they're taking a good game and changing it up, and it loses all the things that made it good.
They're making more
unique.
mistakes as they're changing it than they would have if they just left it
While
alone.
the developers who like, oh, that game did really well, I don't want to make it worse, so let's just not change anything and it'll still do
yeah,
well.
I'm not opposed to change at all, I'm all, but you know, when something is unique, I don't want it to become like this homogenized crap that we already have a ton of in this industry. That's horrible. That's you know, you can change, but at least do something different and unique. Don't make fucking a lower budget Uncharted. You know, we have that. You know,
Called Uncharted.
right.
yeah. It's the same thing with Splinter Cell. I was
But,
pissed,
yeah,
I was pissed
but I
about Splinter
think-
Cell because we didn't have stealth games like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and that's essentially gone.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
Next question comes from Liam, Lemur Dragon in chat from Singapore. He says, okay, I'm going to just the core question here is, what made you guys decide to use a podcast to get our voices out in particular? He kind of asked more like,
So
the question started as kind of how we got, like why we decided
I know
to
what
do
the
this in
answer
first
to
place.
that is, but I think Brad's the best person to bring that up.
What made us
podcast?
what made us choose podcasting as our medium?
Because I mean, that's what you do. Like, how else do you get your voices heard out there? I don't know. It's
Blog.
It's. I mean,
I mean, a lot of sites, a lot of people just settle for doing, written content on a blog, and I think that's in a lot of situations like that.
Well, when we started, me and David just had a lot of conversations about games, and then one day we were like, maybe we should record this. We did.
And 300 episodes later, we're still doing it.
Yep.
I just think there's a lot of people out there who set out to do this kind of thing, and they kind of end up settling for just doing like video written content. And I think, especially in this day and age, audio and video content is super important, especially if you want to get noticed. Because
I don't think it's necessarily that it's super important. I think it's just easier for this fast-paced world in which we're trying to multitask and do everything at the same time, and the ability to just have someone talking in your ears or a video playing in the background or doing something else is so much easier than reading something. Because when you read something, you're reading it.
yes,
Like, you can't really do too much else at the same time, otherwise you're not getting the full effect.
We can drive.
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, I think that's why audio and video are more important, because it's easier for you to do.
Yeah.
I can, punch some guy while I'm listening to the podcast. I can't be reading a blog while I'm punching somebody.
Why did you punch him?
Because
so that's kind of
that's another story for another day.
so that was kind of the. I mean, that's it. The most basic answer as to how we decided to do it this way. But yeah, like at the beginning of it, we just kind of started recording stuff, and then it was the easiest way to do it, so we just kept doing it. So next question comes from David from Pittsburgh. Vagrant Hige. I hope that's not like a racial term or something. Vagrant Hige. He says, it feels as though there was a large number of negative news stories in video games in 2012. From 38 Studios to Silicon Knight closings, Mass Effect endings to Capcom DLC controversies, and many other stories, it has felt like a difficult year for many involved in the industry. If there is one piece of news that you could change from this year, what would it be and why? Studios closing is never a good thing.
But The Last Guardian didn't come out.
Well, actually, the news that was tied to that was the departure
that's true.
of Fumito Ueda from the studio, saying that he was going to continue working on the project as a
So I guess that.
freelance
and the producer.
Yeah.
and the producer. So that was kind of a bummer. That really kind of
The
shook my
news
faith
that
in
the
series.
Wii U was coming out. Oh, that was last year.
Yeah, that was last year.
I just wish that news hadn't happened.
Nick, have you played Zombie U yet?
No, he's not.
What is up with that, man?
That's not.
It's a horror game on a shiny new console you just got, man. What is up?
It doesn't interest me that much. There's other stuff right now that I'd rather be playing.
That's a horror game.
I know. Brad, if it makes you feel better, I'll pop it in and play it.
You should be broadcasting that, man. You're the only one who can. Or
That's
I guess
true.
Nolan can.
Jeff can. Technically. The Mass
Everyone
Effect seems pretty
vote.
Bad.
Mass
One,
Effect.
if you want Nick to play Zombie U on the feed. Two, if you want him to play nothing.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that if I could go back and change one news story this year, it's that the Silent Hill HD collection came out and sucked. I was so upset to hear all the people complaining about the Mass Effect, or the Silent Hill. What the hell is that? The Silent Hill 2
A
collection.
lot of ones.
God damn it.
But some of the twos are sad.
That is true. So yeah.
There's bigger news stories. I mean,
Yeah, he's asking us, each one of us. So if you have an answer, give an answer. I've given
Brad.
2 or 3 so far. What
well,
stories sucked the most for you this year? There's
Well,
a lot of them.
Did you say it can't be the closure of studios?
No, I said I think closing of studios is really bad. It's kind of hard to top that.
Yeah.
THQ having financial problems, also terrible. Especially when there's so many franchises from that company that I really adore, that haven't even come out yet. South Park, Metro, Saints Row,
Don't you say
Insane.
that.
All
Don't
those
you
are
say
games.
that, Nick.
All those are games that are in trouble now because of this financial shit. Sorry, Nolan. I'm pretty sure South Park will come out.
Better. Or I'm holding you responsible.
Okay.
It's
Well,
definitely
I'm moving on to the next question. Dan from Georgia, Obnoxious Relay, says, this is a hard question. There are 100 boxes in a room. 99 of them contain $50,000, and one of them, upon opening, will inflict immediate death. Placement of the death box is completely random. Able to collect the money within each box, how many boxes do you open before you stop?
$50,000?
In each box.
I wouldn't open any of them. What are you talking about?
What?
10 boxes, one of them is
100 boxes.
One of them's instant.
100
99.
boxes. One of them has instant death. The rest have $50,000.
It's a simple
And you can
probability.
keep each one that you take.
I'd open 100 boxes.
You would die.
You would die.
It's a simple probability
Fuck this cruel world.
opening
problem.
boxes
I could do it, but I would need like 10 minutes and some paper and pencil. But I'll try
Dude,
doing
fuck that! I just opened one box and
Yeah,
leave. That's $50,000 I didn't
Fuck
have.
yeah, man.
Like,
And if you open the wrong box, you have the worst luck
But
on the
it's
face
all
of
about the
planet.
probability and the odds of the situation you were in. If there is no contributing factor, if it is just go
Blah,
fuck
blah,
yourself,
blah, blah,
crispy, it would be stupid to not open them. A certain amount. I don't know what it is, but
I would open 2.
2.
I would probably have a heart attack by the time I got to the second box because I'd be fearing death. He also
I'd
had-
open 10.
You know, at some point I would just start feeling really lucky.
$50,000 is a considerable chunk of money. Like,
After playing XCOM, maybe I'll just open one.
Yeah, not a bad point to be made there. He also says that you can have any superpower you want, but the person to your left makes a condition for it. What is it? I don't know if y'all want to try and answer this question.
Okay. Invisibility.
Well, that was his example. So
You can only be invisible in male locker rooms.
God damn it! That
He was supposed to be the one that came
Okay,
up.
invisibility. Go, Nick.
Well, his example was
What's his example?
invisibility, but only in complete darkness.
That's like
even better. What do you mean?
No, that's like from what was that movie?
Mystery Men?
Mystery Men, where he's only invisible if no one's looking at him.
Yeah.
What?
Have you seen Mystery Men? Like his superpower, he can turn invisible, but no one can be looking at him when he's invisible.
What?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That sucks.
What about what if I said I could fly, Chris? What would you tell me would be the condition if I could fly?
you can only fly if... Oh, think about this. If no one's looking at you. We live in a city?
No,
and if
that's
you're
fine.
flying around the air and somebody sees you, you instantly fall out of the sky and die.
No, how about...
He's like falling. Stop looking at me! Stop looking at me!
And then as you're screaming and flailing about, more people are looking at you.
How about you just
be
fly, but you actually have to flap your arms?
Like a bird man.
All of a sudden, your cool power is retarded.
All right, what if I had super speed? Oh, it's the person to my left.
But only while you're having sex.
Only when you're...
That's a good...
It'd be like the movie Click.
Only when you're really gassy.
Oh man, this is a fun question.
It'd mean a lot of beans.
There's a big green
Wait, he has
cloud
to do a
coming out from
superpower.
behind it.
Pick a superpower.
Ooh, laser eyes.
Only when you're making out.
Now, if I close my eyes, can they shoot through my eyelids?
Wait, what? Yeah.
Well, of course.
Those would be horrible laser eyes.
Huh?
Those would be some horrible laser eyes.
So you'd always have to make out with your eyes open
Okay.
and like in a safe area where you can just like...
Laser eyes.
Laser eyes, but only if you're above 30,000 feet.
So only on airplanes?
Pretty much.
Laser eyes.
The worst place for laser eyes.
Laser eyes, but only when you're playing video games.
Oh, sad panda. Damn it. Good question. We're moving on now.
Laser eyes, but only when you're taking the DMV eye test.
Just like melting the thing from the inside out.
This question comes from Shadow. I think that's his or her name. I could be wrong. Shadow Psycho from Hollywood, Florida. Is there a Hollywood, Florida?
Yeah, it's just north of Miami.
It's just north and no one gives a shit.
Weird.
It's a shitty place. Dude, crackheads like wander through the streets like zombies. I've been out during the day in Hollywood, Florida, and it literally looks like the zombie apocalypse because there's a bunch of homeless people and crackheads like crossing major highways, like wherever they want. Like,
Sorry.
people don't follow traffic lights.
All right.
Nice.
So the last question for this segment is going to be, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever done in a game? It could be fucked up in a good way, a bad way, or even fucked up in a fucked up way. Just whatever comes to your mind when you think of most fucked up thing in a video game.
it would probably have to do with killing something innocent. There's something that can't defend itself, and you just
I
kill
immediately
it.
flash back to Dead Space 2 where the baby exploded.
or like in I was just playing Scribblenauts Unlimited last night, and they were like, "Here's a cannibal. He needs something to eat," and I typed in "baby," and the cannibal ate the baby.
That's pretty fucked up, Nolan.
Like stuff like that. Like anything to do with killing something innocent that doesn't need to be done.
I don't think I've ever done anything fucked up in a game.
What?
That's
That's hard to believe.
That's because it's not true.
Yeah, it can't be true. Look around, everybody. Look at the walls.
How many dicks has Brad made in video games?
Yeah, you've done a lot of really fucked up stuff.
Just when you have the ability to make like a 3D dick that bounces
Oh,
around the
that's
world.
right. Yeah. And what was it, Graffiti Kingdom?
Yeah.
Or when I made that little dick creature and it was bouncing around that little girl's hand. That was pretty horrible. She was so happy.
Oh, God. There are probably more examples of these.
There's probably a lot.
Actually, horrible stuff though. Like stuff that made you like, I can't believe I just did that. Like,
Yeah.
actually made you feel bad. Because I think that's happened to me before.
It probably has.
I mean, this is kind of a go-to answer, I guess, but I felt it did feel kind of disgusting while I was playing it, and that was Modern Warfare 2 in the
No Russian.
level.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of the few people, like,
No, it's like when you try to like get into it too, and you're like picking out who you're actually gonna shoot.
yeah,
You're
and
just
I
like-
felt like,
you
"God,
start
what am
off
I
just
doing?"
shooting over everyone's head, and you're like, that guy's running kind of slow. Like, have to get at least one, or else they're not
Exactly.
gonna believe you.
like I appreciated what they did with that. I think that was, I mean, it was interesting. It was definitely something I had never done before in a video game. And although it was kind of there for the shock value and it was controversial as hell, I was like, wow. I mean, that's honestly something I can say I've never done before. And I felt kind of disgusting while I was doing it. So I'm going to go with that. Next question.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, sorry. We're going to take a break. But before we do that, Brad's going to draw.
Why is Brad always drawing?
Okay. Brad, hold the hat while Nolan draws names out of
Why
the
is
draw.
Nolan drawing?
No!
We're gonna do.
I got
Damn
one.
it!
You can draw the next one. And the winner is Tiki 421.
Tiki 421.
All right, hold it.
Tiki
I'll just
421.
hold it.
We're gonna do 3 more names.
You want me to
We got
hold
a total of 10 to give away.
You can draw the next one, Crispy.
Our next winner is
Is Tragoleet.
Trago
Trago
1337. Yeah, cool.
Tiki 421 is in check. Congratulations.
Congratulations, bros.
Hey!
Like I said, I'll be contacting each one of the winners in the next day or so to give you an opportunity to pick a
Third
Steam
one?
code off of our list. Pick carefully, Chris.
Ooh, that feels like a good one. Let's see.
The next winner is
Lemur Dragon.
Lemur Dragon. We
Dragon.
just read your question. Congratulations, Lemur Dragon. I want to pick the last one. I haven't picked one yet. And the winner I drew is Gareth. Gareth, congratulations.
Yay, Garrett!
We will,
Gareth, that's so British.
we will draw 4 more names.
I bet he wears a jumper and his trainers.
We'll draw 4 more names in the last segment.
Carries a bumper chute in his boot.
And of course,
Glory.
don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. We'll answer a ton more questions and we'll wrap up the show. So thanks for sticking with us. Like a mashed potato popsicle.
All right, go ahead, Nick.
All right. We're back. Brad is eating mashed potatoes off of a spoon.
Well, what else would you eat mashed potatoes off of, Nick?
I mean, like he's
Like a waffle cone?
like he put it all on a spoon. He put
Maybe
it all
like
on
a
a
salty
spoon.
waffle cone.
That's actually not that bad.
Oh my god. Okay. So
Someone get on that.
this is this is the last segment. Thanks everybody for sticking around. We've answered a lot of questions. We still have quite a few left to go here, so I kind of have to jump around and pick and choose which ones we answer because we only have one segment left. We'll give away 4 more. We'll do 4 more names, drawings at the end of this segment, and then wrap up. So, our next question is going to come from Gabe Jones, Mojo45678 in chat. He says he's from America.
Yeah, that's where we're from.
I know of that place.
We are there. He said, if you had $1 billion. I think $1 billion might be a little much, but $1 billion to make or remake any game
that was a lot.
at all, what game would that be? It would. Sorry. Oh, never mind. Yeah, if you had $1 billion to make or remake any game, what would it be? I'd take a step farther and say, what talent would you hire to make that game too?
I would hire back the original team and a bunch more people, I guess, to make it perfect because you have unlimited amount of people.
Yeah.
I want to see a proper, I guess, remake first, and then proper sequel to Vagrant Story.
That would be cool.
Of course, written and directed by Yasumi Matsuno.
Of course. Wait, why is no one looks confused?
No, I'm not
Are you
confused.
trying to picture it?
I'm trying to think of a good game.
Oh, I would just go ahead and make all my dreams come true and tell DICE to stop making other games and make a Mirror's Edge 2.
That would be nice.
And make it good, real good, like the Mirror's Edge we all
Well,
knew.
now we're just talking about games that we want.
Well, we have $1 billion. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
Like,
Or to make my ultimate game.
Which is a
Yeah, it's
Metroidvania
Sure,
with
that's-
job class system.
Sure. You're
Takes
getting
place
there.
primarily underwater.
You're getting there. Closer. Warmer.
Starring a character made entirely of hair.
No.
Okay, I don't know.
the hair's just her wetsuit.
I know.
That would be a DLC.
Okay, gotcha.
A wetsuit made of hair.
Wet
Wet
hair.
hair.
Ew. No, y'all don't got nothing.
I mean, if we're just talking about games we want, I want
Yeah.
Prey 2
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
very
yes.
badly.
I would tell everybody to stop what they're doing
Yeah.
and converge on Prey 2 and make that game happen.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
a
if we're
good
talking about
answer.
I was trying to think of an old game that meant a lot to me and have someone remake it and make it, better.
I would use a lot of that money to have Nintendo make a good Zelda game.
So that's what
again.
I was leaning towards Zelda, like maybe an old Zelda I really liked. I mean, I was almost thinking maybe remake Link to the Past, provided they don't make it shitty. And then, almost like a 3D Link to the Past.
I would want them to make.
That's called Ocarina of Time.
I would want them to make a 3D Zelda that has some crazy, kooky, out of this world mechanic, kind of like Majora's Mask. So maybe more of a spiritual successor to Majora's Mask, on a modern day or quote unquote next gen Nintendo console with amazing graphics, completely open world Zelda game. Boom.
I want Bethesda to make an open world game in space. Open world RPG
That'd be cool.
in space, but with space travel as part of it.
Like Firefly.
Yeah. Oh,
Mine would be
Oh no!
I want a Firefly game made by BioWare from 10 years ago.
Starring Nathan Fillion,
from the whole cast.
the whole cast.
Oh,
And the rest.
with characters work
Character development, character
and
design.
character work and writing done by a cooperative effort between Naughty Dog and Ninja Theory.
Oh, that'd be
Well,
cool.
they actually do cutscene work.
Oh my god, what a ninja!
In
Theory.
animation.
Like a Firefly game.
An actual I think the best would be a full, like you were saying, an open world space game, but one where you could actually in real time go from flying between star systems, go into a system, warp
Seamlessly
to
fly
a
down
planet,
onto the surface of a planet.
land on the planet,
And you have
then
job
get
classes.
out. Yeah, and you could do whole crewed ships moving through. You could have other players on your.
Wait,
ship
so is this
with
like an
you.
MMO?
I mean,
No!
This game is quickly becoming much bigger than this question.
With an underwater cave planet.
yes,
Okay.
just a whole planet that's a giant ocean.
Sorry, I retract my original statement about DICE making Mirror's Edge 2. I mean, I would love that to happen, but I just realized that I would take that money. I would sever Ninja Theory from Capcom. I would buy Ninja Theory.
And just have them make me all kinds of personal DMCs. But put my face on Dante. And let me scream at the world.
No, I was gonna say I would buy Ninja Theory.
And
I would buy Silent Hill, and I'd bring the two together.
Oh.
It would be magical.
Ninja
You,
Hill.
I mean, you can't complain about that because Silent Hill has never been super mechanic.
One
driven. It's always
Ninja
been
Hill.
story-driven.
That's
No,
what
I'm
Nick
not-
wants.
Did you hear any complaints from me about that?
Nope.
No,
Sleepy Little
I think that would
Town.
be a pretty good fit. I don't know if Ninja Theory could do horror, but I guess.
Is that what you want, Nick? Right? One Ninja Hill.
How about Platinum develop Bayonetta versus Devil May Cry.
Fuck yes.
Dude, Platinum should do a game, should do a Star Wars game with lightsabers that uses a similar mechanic to that Metal Gear Rising, because that shit is awesome.
We played that demo 4 times.
That demo is so cool.
Yeah, pretty good. Next question comes from Sean from Los Angeles, Moom in chat. He says, my question is, what is the importance and or role of content creators in the gaming industry who are not part of the development or the press? Examples would be Rooster Teeth, Penny Arcade, Mega 64, and live streamers like yourselves. He wants to know what our role is. What is our role in the grand scheme of the industry? Content creators in the gaming industry.
Entertainers.
Yeah, well, I think it's almost like a media in the form of entertainment.
Unbiased opinion?
We're pretty biased.
Are we
but
biased?
towards our own personal opinions?
Well, I mean, but we're
But
not
we're
being
unbiased
paid.
about our bias.
Entertainment and opinions.
We are giving our opinions as consumers to
Yes.
other consumers.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're media in the sense that we take all this information and get it out there, but in the form of entertainment, in that
We can make dick jokes
that too.
that other people can't make, which we do. Quite
Take that,
often.
Game Informer.
Yeah, when's the last dick joke? Well, there's probably a few dick jokes in there.
No, there might have been. I don't know.
We probably have more, though. I hope that answers your question to a degree.
Well-
He also wants to know, Brad, what would you say is the best or simply... What would you say is the best good 3D Metroidvania game? Go.
Metroid Prime.
Okay, Metroid Prime.
It's a good game.
Good game. Okay, next question comes from Matt, Dr. Gonzo in chat. He says, he's from Indiana, by the way. Tutorials are important in games in order for players to know how to play the game, but it seems as though nowadays developers try to implement tutorials into the game and not into a separate option that you can access from the start menu. I miss those days where you could just play the game without ever having to jump into a tutorial. I hate it when game developers put the tutorial in the game itself and it lasts for hours at a time to the point where it ruins the feel of trying to get into the game. Maybe you can name some examples. He says, I'd like to know your thoughts on how tutorials can be used or should be used in a positive light to improve a gameplay experience.
I think it depends on the game, because sometimes tutorials are good, and when a game's more complicated, there might be some subsystems or things you're not... If the tutorial wasn't there, you wouldn't know how to use, or you wouldn't know how to use it properly, which could almost make you seem like, man, that game sucks, because blah, blah, blah. And your friend could be like, oh, well, are you using this? Like, no, what's that? Well, if you would have played the tutorial, you would have found out, and it makes the game so much better.
The thing is, I think what he might be trying to imply is that a lot of times, why should a tutorial not be optional? Why should it not say at the beginning of the game, would you like to play the tutorial? No?
And so, yeah, well, that's a whole different question. But yes, and that's what I was going to also say. Some games give you the option, do you want to do the tutorial or not? You can say yes or no, and then just go for it.
From a creative perspective, though, a lot of developers see that as an opportunity to come up with some cool ways to implement it into the story of the game, and sometimes that concept or that idea might be too enticing to skip.
So the problem is it can be done well, but it can be done horribly. It can feel like they're holding your hand and like, okay, let's jump now. But then when they're like, quick, we gotta go this way, jump over this ledge. That's much better than press A to jump, go. All right, 2 more times. Like when they do it stupid like that and it's annoying and it feels like they're babying you, it gets super annoying.
There are some games that do tutorials like that pretty well.
You know what?
One that jumps to mind is Portal 2. That's basically all that tutorial is.
Well,
Just
that's
like,
'cause
hey, move over here. Jump.
They do
but there's not a lot they have
with
to
an
do
edge of
there.
humor. Yeah.
You know what game had a cool tutorial? It wasn't even a part of the game. You actually went to her manor, and she had an obstacle course. And if you could master that obstacle course, and by mastering the obstacle course, you learned that you learned how to play the game well. But it was completely separate. This separate thing. It was still fun to do.
What game is this?
Tomb Raider.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's true.
Was it specifically Tomb Raider 2 that had the obstacle course, or did they all have the obstacle course?
I
don't know.
I don't remember.
I think.
Was that
I
in
think I
Tomb
played
Raider
2,
Anniversary?
and that was.
Well, Tomb Raider Anniversary.
It was
had
Tomb
it.
Raider.
Yeah.
I don't know. Remember it. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's hit or miss. Next question comes from William Falconface from Missouri. This question is also directed at Brad, but we can all answer it because we're Metal Gear Solid fans. He says, with Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain working their way towards us, there still has been no mention of underwater segments. Water has been a crucial plot point in the previous games in Metal Gear Solid 2, where you could swim through the flooded shell. Metal Gear Solid 3, where you swim in the jungle in various points wearing a silly crocodile hat.
and Metal Gear Solid 4, where the game's climax takes place on a boat. Are you worried? Okay.
A stretch.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch.
Oh, and in the first one, he took a sip of water.
Yeah.
Are you worried that the series has abandoned
No, in the
its...
first one he swims up in a wetsuit.
Oh, it's true.
But you're not controlling that, are you?
Well, yeah, you can get in the
You
water.
can get back in the water and you can swim around and find a
Dude,
ration.
the original Metal Gear Solid was like so fucking amazing and innovative. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Think about the other like stupid games that came out that year.
Are you worried that the series has abandoned its roots and that Hideo has become hydrophobic?
Hideo.
I'm sorry, I was reading fast.
I'm pretty
No
sure
word.
there'll be maybe some.
I'm-
There'll be a river.
I mean,
Water-
if you can't
water will
swim
be
in
in
the
the
new
game.
Metal Gear Solid game, is that going to make it not a Metal Gear Solid game?
I mean, you know a Metal Gear is going to jump out of the water or some shit. And be like,
It's always Metal
I
Gear
have
Solid.
never-
Fucking shark.
Metal Gear Ray.
yeah.
I have never really tied... oh my god.
Jesus.
Oh shit!
Earthquake in here.
Oh shit!
Chris, just hit
Wait,
the camera.
there might be aftershocks.
Oh, thanks.
Water and Metal Gear Solid have never been two things that I've typically associated with each
They've
other.
never really been hand in hand or a
Now
big
like
deal.
Tomb Raider and water.
I'm glad he took the opening for that and went with it.
You know what's great? First level of Underworld, you're just on a boat and you look around and it's just ocean and you realize your level is going down.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Or 40 Fathoms from Tomb Raider 2 when you start the level and you're just underwater in the middle of the ocean. You're just underwater and there's sharks and you have to swim and find a place that actually has... You have to find the sunken ship, swim down into it to get air because you can't swim up. I mean, you're just in the middle, way deep down in the ocean. That was crazy.
Cool.
It is crazy. Next question comes from Justin from Illinois, JTC545 in chat. This is a fuck, marry, kill. Classic Max Payne, bearded Max Payne, or bald Max Payne?
Don't marry classic Max Payne. You'll just die.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's true.
So, how about you kill classic Max Payne?
I say kill all of them.
I abstain from this question.
Why are you abstaining from the question? It's a fuck, marry, kill. We usually
Because
do
I don't
this.
think I have enough information.
Oh, you don't play many. You haven't played Max Payne yet.
So I'm
Brad,
not
do you have an
gonna-
opinion on this
I
Max
guess
Payne?
don't fuck the one with the beard.
Why not?
I don't want to know your reasoning behind that, Brad.
Past experience.
He just knows he doesn't
Trust
like
me.
to fuck dudes with beards.
Trust me. Don't fuck the guy with the beard. You'll regret it.
It tickles.
Okay. Sorry, turning the page here.
Glossing over.
Okay, our next question is going to be
Red soon.
read soon. Evan from Waterford, Ireland. Malevolent
Ireland.
Antelope in chat. I like his chat name. So I don't know why I'm like, my brain is like just stopping. There's a large division between what gamers want in sequels. Some prefer the game stays true to the original and some want to see changes. Some people like the bigger and better treatment games such as Resistance, Gears of War, Condemned have gotten bigger and better, usually sacrificing the atmosphere these games have created for larger set pieces and thus changing the feel of the game. And some people do not, like myself. Although I believe that what we want from a sequel usually depends on the game. Do you normally rather prefer when sequels are pretty much the same as predecessor?
Pretty much. We've pretty much.
All right.
answered
His
that
second question is:
He's right about the condemned thing.
Yeah.
would you ever consider getting all the members of 4Player to compile a list of their top 10 favorite games of all time? Which we have done.
We've done it in the past.
We did it.
But
Final Fantasy Tactics, A Link to the
Oh,
Past,
shut up! Shut the fuck up! That's not
Symphony
happening.
of the Night.
It's not happening. I need to redo my list though.
I mean, people need to redo their list almost yearly in some cases.
I feel like I need to wait a couple of years after I maybe played that game before I'd even consider it for being in my top list.
I see what you're trying to do. Trying to make a point, Brad.
Well, I'm saying it's easy to think like, oh, this is the greatest game ever. Let's throw it on my
That's
list.
true.
I think you need time to sort of play more stuff, to think back and
So
reflect.
then you can look
Let
back and
the
yeah.
shiny newness of it wear
Yeah,
out.
like
much is still
I don't.
there
I'm
when
not
you're-
trying to call you out, but there was a lot of games you played over the past couple of years where, like, right after you played it, you're like, Far Cry 2 is on my top 10, and Alan Wake and Red Dead are on my top 10. When I bet, like 4 years from now, maybe only like Red Dead's going to be up there or something like that, you know?
I think Alan
Because
Wake will stand
by
the
the
test
time
of
you
time.
play like Far Cry 5 or whatever, how much is Far Cry 2 going to really have stuck with
Well, I've
you?
already decided Far Cry 3. Like, I wouldn't put Far Cry 2 and 3 in my top 10.
Those are
Like,
very different games, though, thematically.
I know. But they're also so similar in the sense that I couldn't put 2 and 3 in my top 10. Like, they can't be anywhere near each other.
What's so funny, Nolan? You always have a little fucking secret, don't you?
I do.
Little fucking secret loving Nolan? It's your favorite thing, isn't it?
Carrie from... Carrie. King Carrie in chat wants to know, he's going to keep it short and sweet. He just wants to know, what is our favorite highlight we've ever done? If you can think of it.
I've done
Scooter,
personally,
brother!
or a highlight. I mean, one of my favorite highlights from before I was around was your fucking Roman.
Oh.
Killed Roman or whatever.
In the ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roman, no. Yeah, I remember that
I mean, I have a soft spot for, holy crap, that's a bear.
one. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Probably what I would have said.
that's pretty
tough,
great.
though. I don't even know.
I do love the Rife Rhine. I think that is so comical
Yeah, that's a
that
good one.
it's like I can't even believe that happened in real life.
It's funny because it's racist, and it's funny because it's true.
Yep.
it's I like no words can describe. I don't even know. Never mind. That's my favorite. That and holy crap, that's a bear. Anybody else have any honorable mentions they want to bring up?
Man, I have to think about that.
I mean, there's a lot of them out there, obviously. But
Like it's very rare that I watch a clip of myself and I crack up, but it happens sometimes. So I have to,
I still remember the time that I went over to my girlfriend's friend's house for the first time, and her little brother was there, and he saw me, and he's like, I think he goes, hot dogs. And I was like, oh my god. And he's like, you know Brad? I was like, yeah, I know Brad. And he's like, hot dog, like all night. He wouldn't stop saying hot dogs. I was like, god damn it. Okay.
I like stupid shit though. I do find it funny when you're playing Call of Cthulhu in the hotel and you're trying to like flip all the fucking switches and I'm screaming at you.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done in a video game, probably in my life. I was so like my hand. If the controller could have slipped out of my hands if I squeezed it too hard. Oh my god, I was so tense. So yeah, if you're a first-time listener to the show, you can find us on YouTube. Just search for 4Player Podcast. You can find all of our highlights over the years there. There's some funny stuff.
Yeah,
so I've heard.
Some pretty good stuff.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, Gareth from... he didn't say where he's from. Gareth, EVS3 says, this is a news topic, by the way. What are your opinions about the new PlayStation potentially including the...
RFID
he says
chip.
used game blocker, but yeah, the RFID chip patent that has been leaked recently. I'm wondering how this would work, because if it links to your console only and the console dies, what do you do? I've actually heard somebody else on another podcast was talking about it and talks about how the RFID chips on the disc are reprogrammable, but you would have to send them back or contact the publisher to have them reset.
Like even like aren't current like a Nintendo Wii stuff? Isn't that like limited to one console?
Wait, say it again?
Like a lot of the stuff on the Nintendo Wii or something, like your user account and stuff. Like if your Wii craps out,
Yeah,
like
if
all
your-
your crap
your
is
virtual-
all-
stored
yeah.
only on the console.
it's just gone.
Yeah.
And I think that idea is stupid. You should not limit me to one box that I paid a shit ton of money for, and if it breaks, I just have to start anew. That is dumb for you to have to do to me, a consumer who you want me coming back to spend more money with you. As far as the whole RFID chip blocking the game, I understand where they're coming from because they're losing a lot of sales to used games.
Yeah.
And I understand why they want to do it. And maybe it could be a good thing. What about limits it to one console, free DLC? No more pre-order here and you get this, pre-order here and you get this. It's one console, you pay $60 and it's you get everything
Yeah,
else.
because they don't have to worry about people reselling their games anymore. So,
Think about it that way. There are advantages. There are disadvantages, yes, but there are advantages to that.
and given the amount of time most people actually spend playing their games before moving on to the next thing, most people wouldn't really have or care about the game long enough to the point where it's like all of a sudden you can't play that game anymore because you got a different console or whatever, and now it's like maybe it doesn't really matter so much.
But,
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean,
not the way I feel,
But then
because
doesn't that kind of limit you to a world where if you're gonna go buy a game, get ready to shell out
And so,
$60
yeah, that's
every
that's what I was
going
going to bring up. But that's going to
Like-
limit a lot of people who it's like, oh, I really want that game, but I don't have the money. I guess I'm never going to play it. Or kind of
Yeah.
like...
And even if you had a bunch of games, it's not, if there's no used game trade, there's no one who's going to want to buy them.
And that's the problem, because I don't like buying games unless I know I'm going to want to play it over and over and over. My game collection, if you look at it, it's not that big. My old stuff, like PS2, that's kind of a little bit bigger, but games were also a little cheaper back then. And most of those I paid like $20 for like 2 weeks after they came out. As soon as it hit greatest hits, $20. And so, I mean, that's not the same anymore. And so a lot of the games nowadays, I don't buy. I rent just because, in my opinion, it's a waste of money in the sense that I'm paying $60 for something, I'm going to play for 10 hours and then never touch again. Like, I'm willing to do it for games I know I'm going to play over and over again. But, I don't know. There's pros and cons.
In fact, we could literally probably spend an entire podcast talking about this, so probably should move on.
Brad, do you have any opinions? You're pretty quiet.
I agree.
Our next question comes from Rorix. Didn't leave any other information, but he says, with the perceived failures of some of the more gimmicky pieces of technology of this generation, i.e. the
Nintendo?
Move, Kinect, Wii U, do you think there is going to be a backlash going forward against non-traditional gaming methods, or do you think people will continue to try and embrace new technology? Can you foresee a near future in which gaming takes place using non-traditional methods, i.e. without a controller in your hand?
I mean, I don't think people even really tried to embrace, like, the Move.
Yeah.
Like, how many units did that sell at launch? I don't...
I think
it was a
was it
struggle.
8 or 9? Like, a handful? Like,
I mean, even to this day, I don't think I know anybody
I mean,
that
I
has
think-
a PlayStation Move, with the exception of Brad.
I think the backlash is already kind of here.
Yeah,
well, it's a
I-
waste of money. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, do I think there's a day that controllers won't be necessary anymore? In the past, I would say no, but now with new technology I've been seeing, it is possible. Like brain controlled crap. Hooking just putting something on your head and it just measures your thoughts. And so I mean, that's
you know what? Think about that. That'd be so like people always think about people who look at gamers, look down their nose at gamers, or whatever, and they think of people just sitting like zombies in front of their TV. If that ever happens, where we control games with their minds, that's happening. We're gonna be sitting there in front of our TV just like this, just staring at our TV.
And what do you do now? You stare at it and you go,
Yeah, but at least our thumbs are moving and our heads can move back. I don't know. I just feel like it would just look really weird, like we're just like brain dead staring at it.
well, maybe it's control with that
Well,
and a
if it-
connect, so you have
what
to
if,
be moving around.
Yeah,
What
can
if-
you talk? Can you
think
talk
about
with that
this.
thing on your head while you're controlling?
Why
the
not?
game?
Think about this. If you're controlling your games by thought input, then that kind of rules out these kind of like Zen games we were talking about earlier, where you can just shut off your brain and go off muscle memory, like with Trials, like Brad
Well,
was
it's
saying.
brain muscle memory.
Brain muscle memory.
Yeah, but what's
Isn't that your strongest muscle?
It's the most erotic.
But with your with your brain, can you make up the rules in the game? So it's like all of a sudden you're playing Trials with your brain, but you're like fuck physics, and all of a sudden your bike can fly over
I
stuff.
think that's just a limitation of the game.
Hey man, I'm just throwing shit out there. It may not happen.
I mean, the problem with gimmicky things is that's it. They're gimmicks. They won't last. That's just when Nintendo came out, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. But even then, I knew like the Wii is not going to last, and it happened. It didn't last. It barely, it went on for 6 months, a year, and then after that, it just kind of fell off, and like no one really cared anymore. And you know what? I don't even think the Wii U was going to last that long. The Move, the problem is, it was good. It was much better than the Kinect. It was much better than the Wii U or the Wii. The controls were very accurate, had a lot of potential, but it just didn't take off. I don't know if it's because developers didn't want to work with it, whatever. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't sell, which means interest in developing games for
Exactly.
it was nil. So
And I think that's going to be. I mean,
why doesn't fucking Metal Gear Rising have move support though?
Because, exactly. I mean, they didn't think it was worth it.
maybe it's just because they came on board too late, and it was too late to try and implement that this late in the process.
What's the point?
I mean,
Who
that would
knows?
be cool.
Who knows? Our next question comes from P-E-R, I think that's his name. Monter in chat from Norway. Ooh.
He's asleep.
Thanks, Brad. With the first season of The Walking Dead from Telltale being a huge success, sold 8.5 million.
There you go. I was going to say
I was like, don't say
I was like, wow, it sold more units than people on the earth.
8.5 million episodes.
episodes, which is pretty impressive.
Everyone bought one.
But see,
Most
I don't
people
know.
bought two.
I wonder if they're counting away the ones that they gave away for free, because they gave away
Yeah, that is true.
like that first episode of free,
Yeah.
free a bunch. But yeah,
They
Still-
probably are.
still
But
impressive.
It's a good number.
They probably have not even broke over 1 million sold on anything else that they've ever done.
True. So it says, but do you really think a second season can succeed or keep the same standard as the first? Telltale just said they're looking into transferring Season 1 save files to the second season. But do you guys think the game stands a chance of actually being as emotional as the first without your personal save file?
I don't see them striking gold twice. I don't even know what's going to happen. Wait, what?
It just goes off on some tangent.
I'm just more thinking about
where am I?
I'm just more thinking about season 2.
Like what's going to happen? Because the thing is, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think it's going to be very different from Season 1.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way they're.
And so but the thing is, that opens a huge slate. That's what we were talking about. They could make things go a completely different route, and it could be amazing, or they could make it horrible. I mean, I don't think they're going to make it horrible, but I mean, I think there is a possibility that the whole hype of Season 1, how
It's going to be his downfall.
You know what I hope doesn't happen? While a lot of people loved it, I think it's the highest rated game of the year at this point, after reviews started coming out after the 5th one. I'm worried, even though people love it, there were some people out there who complained it wasn't a very good game or not enough of a game. I'm worried that they're going to try to make it more of an adventure game, and
Game
that's
it up a bit.
that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing, because the worst parts of that game is when it even tried to be an adventure game. And you know what? Honestly, don't mean to like piss anyone off, but adventure games, they kind of suck. At least like those Telltale ones do.
Yeah.
Point and click adventure games are fucking lame. That's not the game.
We do not want them taking inspiration from their own Jurassic Park game.
Yeah. Well, Jurassic Park wasn't that either. Jurassic Park was something completely different. But just I don't want to fucking be pixel hunting around an environment trying to pick up everything so I can combine it and like solve a fucking puzzle. No,
That isn't the best.
This needs to stay like a Heavy Rain style game. There was gameplay, but that gameplay was decision making, and they excelled at that.
Yeah.
Just make sure you know why people love this game, and it has nothing to do with how much of a game it is. Just people's favorite parts are when you're just not playing the game.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's almost
People hated the first episode the most because that one was the
it
most
was really
like a
it was
game.
more so than the rest of them. But the thing is, like, oh, blah blah blah, and so people are like, this isn't a game; it's an interactive story. Well, yeah, but it's a really good interactive story. I mean, that's my opinion.
I think that like this game structurally is very similar to like the Jurassic Park game and the Back to the Future games, but those weren't entertaining. I feel like partly because you were saying like they did kind of have more puzzle solving stuff in those games.
Well,
But
no,
also
Jurassic
with the-
Park was just like cutscenes with QuickTime events, and they didn't even
But-
have like decision making in it. It was
They didn't
terrible.
have decision making, but you still had to like hunt around the environment for like little clues and shit like that.
and
And that
that's
was
bad.
annoying.
That's bad.
But
It's almost hard to pinpoint what specifically makes this so much better than everything else.
it's that style of gameplay with the conversations and the decision making mixed with that style of story that complement each other so well.
Yeah.
I mean, if the next one is just like this one but different characters, and different
You know
setting,
what? They need to make a Firefly game. Because think about it, like Firefly is all about dialogue and the tough decisions they have to make. It'd be perfect for Telltale. They just need to hire now that they have money, hire some staff that can actually make them an engine that's not dog shit, because they've been using that same piece of crap one forever, and they need fancier tech.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the home stretch, folks. Our next question comes from Matthew from Texas, Matto424.
I know a Matt from Texas.
A local boy.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, I do too. Chris,
He
you know
was on our
Matt?
Family Matters intro.
Who the fuck's Matt?
He says, "Congratulations on the big 300, guys. Keep it up." Anyways, my question is, what if you guys could travel in time? Where would you go? What would you do? And out of curiosity, what would you guys party with while time traveling? Or does he mean who would you party trip? I was like, what I would party with would probably remain the same.
What?
Wait, what kind of time
Party
travel
with
is this? It's like
dinosaurs.
you just get to go to one place.
One place and in one time set period. I
You
guess.
can like go wherever you want, whenever you want. Just one. You have one choice.
just one. Just pick one.
Time and a space and a place and a person.
Yes, and who you would party with. Go.
I gotta be honest with you. I'd probably just go like 30 years in the future. You know, not get crazy, but I bet like there'd be enough advances in like technology and just the way we do things in life that my mind would be like blown. But it's not too far into the future where I think the Earth might be destroyed completely.
I don't think the Earth is going to be destroyed in 30
That's what,
years.
Uh,
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
I don't think the
we
Earth's
all
gonna
know
be
it's at least
destroyed in,
35 years
100
away.
years.
that was
Well,
Doc.
100 years things are going to get pretty dicey. Just with the
30 years
renewable
was Doc
resources
Brown's plan, so sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Nice
it
round
worked out
number.
pretty well for them.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, and the past just sucks, dude. We got it good. Shit sucked back then.
Yeah.
Bro.
That is true, but then
Just don't go-
if you go to the future, what are you going to do then? How are you going to make money?
Dude, I'm gonna go back in the past where I'm like a fucking
I don't
genius.
have
You
to
don't
worry
know-
about making money.
You don't know what the future
I'm
would
a
be like.
time
Maybe you have
traveler.
money vending machines. You just go to a vending machine and get money out of it.
Dude,
I'm gonna go-
you get different money.
You get more money.
I bring an almanac from
Even farther in the future
2012, and I go in the future.
and amaze people with your horrible like
with
old
your
news.
with your knowledge that they could look up in their brain implants. I know who won this game. I'll look it up in my book, and they're all like, "Boop! Oh no, it was that guy."
No, but what I'm saying is like almost like inflation. Like you're gonna go 30 years in the future and be like, "Hey, can I buy that sandwich?" And they're like, "Yeah, $50." And you're like, "What?
Don't,
Okay.
$50?"
What if scientists
dude. If
figured
you're
out how to
traveling through
live
time, just
forever?
steal shit. What are they gonna do? Catch you? You just go back in time.
No, but we're not. This isn't time travel. It's one place and one time.
Right.
All right, you know what? This is what I would do. This is because this is something I've always wanted to do, but it's not possible, obviously. I would take.
I remember when sodas were $1.50.
I would find the most mind-blowing, mind-numbing, shocking films of today. Like, good films, but like, I'd take something like Inception or something, I don't know, something just mind-fuck crazy. And I would go back to like the 1930s. And assuming I could find a way to show this film...
Yeah,
I
in the
know.
1930s, there was all of like
Yeah.
one film projector in the world.
I know, and I would have to take some kind of technology with me, obviously.
Take a Vita.
But I would
play it on a Vita.
I would take it back in time, and I would show this to people who were still watching, like, you know, I don't know.
Buster Keaton films.
Yeah, like, and I would just watch their brains melt and probably their heads explode. It'd be crazy.
What if they just watch it and they're like, "Nah, I don't think that was a very good story."
I didn't like, I didn't like the plot device.
No,
I don't know. The dialogue seems
only-
a bit.
It's like the only reason we
contrived.
can accept it is because we were like gradually built up to the point where it's like it's not so amazing, crazy. But if you go back and show them something like that, then
I don't think they had DVD players back then. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. Blu-ray players
I would take a Blu-ray player. They have.
with the HDMI hookups on
I
the
would take
TVs.
the TV, everything. Shut the fuck up. I would find a way. You know what? I would go back there and bring them to me.
Dude, you know, it'd be even better. Go back in time to like not go that far, but go to like the 50s when everyone was really like space age and everyone was like thinking about the future a lot, and they were designing cars that look like rockets and shit like that. And then show them the future and be like, "Hey, it's kind of not that different. I mean, we've got smartphones now, but we just watch a lot of TV.
You know,
Like-
you know those hoverboards you wanted?
Still waiting.
Still waiting on those.
We got longboards, but those aren't. Those are for
Exactly.
hippies.
Okay. Question from Koshiro. Didn't leave any other information, but he says, "Do you think game companies could benefit from people without previous gaming experience? Listening to Looking Glass Studios podcast, I learned that most of the key persons had no previous experience in game development, sometimes gaming itself, yet they still managed to create some of the best games ever."
I think it's almost hit and miss.
I don't know. I think there's a certain mindset or a certain frame of reference that you can only get from people who don't have a lot of who aren't.
But then
super
they
deeply
also don't
interested.
have. They have a huge lack of knowledge where it comes to some very important thing.
I think,
and they don't have like professional experience, but I'm sure they've, have made like people who get jobs at video game companies have worked on like smaller projects and have probably played games all their lives, and they're coming from something.
I think they
Unless
should,
you're Mercury.
the thing is, I think there should be people coming coming from something. Maybe even if it's not games. Like I'm super intrigued by the idea of Guillermo del Toro working on a game. He probably doesn't have a whole lot of experience as far
But
as
he's not going
developing
to be.
games.
His input is going to go. into
I know,
the game.
I'm
but
sure
but
he's played a game before. Like,
Yeah.
He does. His favorite games of all time are Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
But I
He's
mean-
so
played
I mean,
games.
he has. Like,
But he's coming from a different place. He's not coming from the same place. Let's say like Ken Levine came from.
Where like San Antonio,
Whatever.
San Francisco.
It's still the idea of people out from other walks of life giving their input on game development has the potential to create some really cool, unique stuff.
it's a double-edged sword because you have that like outside of the box mentality, but then at the other time they could think things that would make really good video games.
Like this would be perfect in
Like,
a game.
oh, what if we did a video game where you're like a bodyguard and you're escorting people around the whole time and protecting them? People would hate that game. It's a giant escort mission.
That's true.
Fuck that shit.
Okay, 3 more questions on our 300th podcast. These are 2 of these questions. This Javi, who is riding MGS, Brad, from Chicago, Illinois, wants to know. Get ready, Brad. He might be coming to Austin at some point, and he was wondering if there's any places we enjoy as far as entertainment, bars, good food, blah blah. We'd recommend. He said he already knows about 6th Street. He already knows about the Alamo, which is not now in Austin, but whatever.
Yes,
So-
it is.
He means the draft
house.
Oh, he's thinking of the draft. I was talking about
Entertainment.
The Alamo.
I was
the
like,
Alamo.
dude, the Alamo is like fucking
is
south.
not that entertaining unless you're a history buff.
It's an old church where people
Maybe
got
he's a
killed.
history
It's
buff.
not even that big.
It's really not.
That's true. Whatever. All he said was the Alamo, so I assumed he was talking about the Alamo.
Draft house.
But if he's talking about the draft house, then he already knows about it.
Oh, but which Alamo draft house is he?
Oh my
go
god, just
to?
read the next.
Definitely not South Lamar.
I mean, that's the question. So
'Cause it's close.
he wants us to make recommendations in Austin for places to go that he should see that may not be obvious.
I would.
My go-to for food for new people to town is the Texas Chili Parlor.
Texas Chili Parlor.
Someone in the living room was like, "Yes," because they have. If you've never had their chili, it is the best chili I've ever had. Comes
It
in
is
all
pretty
different
damn good.
spice
chili.
varieties.
Where's it coming
no,
from?
No, no,
Where's
no.
it coming from?
It's not but chili. It is
But
the
chili.
best chili.
It's not.
But I'm
butt
saying
chili.
chili-
This ain't
everywhere.
some
He's
He's
Lord
coming
brand
from
shit.
Chicago.
He's coming from Chicago.
I'm not saying it's unique.
Oh no, never mind. Wait, yeah, Chicago. Yeah,
So I think that would be good.
dude, or Torchy's if you want good tacos. Torchy's
is pretty
tacos.
good. It's unique.
I always recommend roll-on sushi.
Roll on sushi.
Yeah, but no. What do you? I mean,
Sushi's not really like
Yeah,
a
I bet he
thing
gets
you
much
come
better
to
sushi in
Austin to
Chicago.
get.
Yeah,
No,
Chicago
but-
probably has better sushi.
No, it's a unique experience. It's really good. It's fusion sushi. It's fusion
there's
sushi.
plenty of fusion.
It's like
Hey.
it's like fish fused with poop, in my opinion.
No,
Fish
it's
fused
fantastic.
with the rice. They just put it together and they roll it up. It's crazy.
But they put like they put like beef.
They put like fried chicken.
Yes, and it's delicious.
In my opinion, it was not.
Shut the fuck up. Everyone that I've introduced it to loved it.
Why
except
not
for
go
you.
get barbecue or something?
No, that's another. I mean, yes, there's good barbecue places here. Salt Lick.
I would
Looks
actually, if you're
good.
gonna come all the way to Austin, and you want to get barbecue, you might as well go to what the fuck? It's just completely like
What's that?
It's Lockhart that has the really good bar. What's the city right
Yeah,
outside?
yeah.
Oh yeah, they have like Kreitz Market and Black
Yeah,
Barbecue.
Kreitz Market has fucking fantastic.
There's that
barbecue.
one place right in downtown that opens like at 8
Frank's?
a.m. every day and they're closed by 11.
Frank's.
Yeah,
That's
is
good.
that what it was called?
I'm pretty sure it's called Frank's.
Really good brunch.
I would
People
go.
wait in line for 2 hours to get that shit.
Just get like a pound of like brisket.
I also like cilantro food trucks. Austin has fantastic
Yeah,
food
they're
trucks.
Yeah,
like
maybe
a
go to
bunch
the
of
food truck trailer park on
Yeah.
Congress.
There's one on East or South First that's really good. Oh wait, that one's pretty much just a Torchy's. Just go to Torchy's. It's really good.
Don't go to Gordo's the restaurant. They open up a restaurant and it sucks. Gordo's the place that makes awesome
you-
donuts.
See if you can find
Wait,
Bananarchy.
their donuts are good.
Bananarchy-
I've only had the
No,
donut-
they're great, but they open up a restaurant,
restaurant isn't
and
good.
now everything.
I've only
is
had their
donut,
donuts
like,
once.
Have
A
you
donut burger and a donut.
have you heard of the Bananarchy food truck?
Yeah,
They
good.
have the frozen bananas. You can get a Job. It's 2
Yeah.
bananas covered in chocolate,
Covered in
and
chocolate.
extra nuts.
What you
Like,
should really do is come here during the Gypsy Food Festival because all the food trucks from Austin are all in one place,
And they're amazing.
and you can
There's
try them all.
other things to do in Austin besides food too.
Live music.
Lots of live music.
Might I recommend some good metal shows? By the way,
Might you not?
we're popping Chris's metal cherry.
You have a metal
I
cherry.
am
It's got to be
really
painful.
apprehensive about this whole thing.
He's excited.
Well, you're on a metal head.
I mean,
One
Dude.
of our mutual friends was like, she was like, I want to go to a metal show, and he was like, yeah, you said you were gonna take me to a metal show. I was like, all right, I'm buying tickets tonight.
yeah,
I
and then you
did.
bought them. I didn't think you'd do that.
Just
Follow-
watch some
follow through with
videos
it,
on
man.
YouTube. What
Follow
kind of
through
music
with
do you usually listen to?
Not metal.
Not metal.
Country
gonna
A
be fun.
lot of. Why'd you jump straight to that?
What's wrong with country
You
music?
just seem like a country music dude.
I don't think he does.
You don't know me, Brad.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I can personally guarantee you'll have a good time.
Cool.
Just get hammered.
Just get punched in the face at
You
least
won't get
once.
punched in the face. I've never been punched in the face at a metal show.
Just kicked in the tank.
It's come close though.
No, I'm going to be punching. Like that's what you do,
No,
right?
no.
You get in the
It's,
pit.
it's
you
like
just start
Rock'em
punching
Sock'em
around.
Robots. You just run around.
Oh god, now I'm scared.
Although he should go to Whataburger if he's coming from Chicago.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely Whataburger.
They don't have Whataburger up there?
No, it's only south.
There's one in
I doubt it.
Florida.
There's one in Florida. At
Oh,
least one.
Florida is the south, is it not?
Okay.
Okay. Next question, real quick question from Gino Cross wants to know: as an Australian viewer, are we planning on attending PAX in Melbourne this year?
No.
Probably not.
That's really expensive.
But that's not to say it wouldn't happen in the future. But this year,
Pronounced Melbourne.
No, Ryden's in chat. He says, "Fuck you too, Brad."
as far as our trade show plans this year, we're pretty much. Stop looking at my sexy screensaver. As far as
Gans is overrated. I prefer France.
As far as trade shows go this year, we have our usual plans. We have PAX East in March, and E3 in June, and PAX Prime in August. Maybe next year. Last question of the night. Once again, thank you everyone for writing your questions. If we didn't get to it, I will hold on to this so we can maybe try and answer it on future shows, but we answered as many as we could on this podcast. But our last question comes from Dan.
we have a lot of Dans.
No, this is the same Dan.
the same Dan.
This is the Dan.
the
Still?
Dan.
I'm pretty sure this is the Dan.
The Dan.
I hope this is the Dan.
He should change his chat name to the Dan.
The Dan that provided the codes, I think. From Ontario, Canada. I didn't make a note next to it. Oh, yes, I did. Thanks for the codes. It's the Dan.
The Dan.
I missed my own note. Break speed in chat. He says, we all know you guys as avid gamers, but what other interests do you all have that set you apart? For example, we know Brad likes Lord of the Rings lore. Nick likes metal music and Dexter. That's great. What hobbies outside of gaming do you consider yourselves absolute experts in, and do you participate in any other social circles outside of gaming regularly?
Would you consider loving DMC part of your gaming culture, or is that a separate thing that is spun off into its own?
It's not a
Part
separate
of
thing.
your life.
I did play the demo again this week, and I beat it on Son of Sparta mode.
Was that difficult, or did you just mash the buttons?
Hey man, it was tough.
You know what's funny is people are posting all the kinds of preview videos in like threads on NeoGAF, and they're just being torn apart. You know, going, of course he loves this game. It's just fucking easy, just mashing. They're just talking so much shit about the actual players of the game. It's funny. They're vicious, man.
They're vicious, man. I don't give a shit though. Answer the question though. Any other hobbies outside of gaming that we find ourselves compelled to partake in on a regular basis?
I had to go to work. It's fun.
Really?
Brett, probably not so much for Brett. I'm gonna be honest.
Probably you're fucking right.
I mean,
We all work. We all have. I mean, like you said, I like metal music. I do like to go to shows. And
I'm not really big into a whole lot actually. I do like movies. I
do love movies.
I'm a big
as
fan
well.
of movies.
And I can't stop watching TV
Then why
shows.
haven't y'all seen Django Unchained?
I
was
have.
waiting for Bernadette. We're gonna go see it probably tomorrow. Okay, calm down.
It's pretty good.
But one thing, I mean, it's not a hobby, but I've always wanted to do more like woodwork, like building things, like I don't know, a bookshelf, whatever.
Bongs.
I mean,
I was a.
out of wood? That's a horrible.
I
bong.
know it was a joke.
It would last all of like 5 minutes, if even.
Duh.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry.
Nick.
You
I'm
need
sorry.
glass
Nolan.
for that shit.
There we go.
Or there's some other things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like be able to do that, but I mean that costs money and space because I would need lots of space.
I'm a big fan of fun.
Drinking alcohol.
Drinking alcohol.
Crispy is a fan
no.
of that.
Anyway, I mean, I'm really into movies and stuff too. That's what I went to school for, and like I always go to the Draft House whenever I get a chance. Always go to their special screenings and stuff. Love doing that. One thing I've really been getting into this last year, it's kind of gaming related, but not really, is like traditional gaming.
LARPing?
Like board game. Yeah. LARPing.
Oh, I love board games.
Board games.
I do love board games.
And there are so many like
Not
really
poopy board
awesome,
games like Sorry.
Yeah, no,
or
not
something
like,
like
not
that.
like not like Walmart,
Candyland.
Target, like Hasbro board games and shit like that, but like actual real like fully fleshed out like imaginative creative board games. And
Do they have Pop-O-Matic bubbles though?
you got me there.
Have you ever played Hungry Hippos?
You know what I would like to do? I would like to start playing D&D again.
I did enjoy
But like some
that.
very
You died.
oh, yeah.
I've actually never played D&D before, and I've always wanted to.
Oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
We did D&D for a while. That was interesting.
What, three or four?
Do you know what? I think we need to do like less creative based and more rule based, and I think we'd have a lot more fun with it. I think we were doing too much like
Like if you actually have like a board. With
No. We had all that, but our Dungeon Master Jordan was very into the creative side, the storytelling, the more of that, and so there wasn't a whole lot of combat and stuff like that, and which is what I think a lot of
We
us
spent so much
expected.
time trying to
I want
pick
like
fights.
hardcore tagging.
Well, at the beginning of it, all we were trying to do, like, can we kill this person? Can I roll to kill them? Who can we kill?
And Jordan was like, no. It was pretty funny. So I think that's about it as far as questions goes. There are still quite a few questions in this list we couldn't get to tonight, but we appreciate everyone who submitted one. We're about to do the last drawing of the night, but like I said, I'll hold on to these and maybe we can revisit these on the next podcast. Before we draw that, I just want to say this is kind of weird. I thought it was kind of, since we have had run-ins in the past with Rooster Teeth, I just want to say congratulations to them. They're doing their 200th podcast tonight.
beat them by 100.
Beat them by 100. Same night and same time, though. It's kind of strange. That was not planned, believe it or not.
Nope.
Weird. And
Everyone in chat's
fuck,
like,
next week.
Fuck.
We missed it.
Everyone, next week is our award podcast, 2012 wrap-up stuff. So we're recording the podcast next week. We'll have one for the main show and one for cocktail time as well. Everyone's going to be involved in some way, and we'll be posting our top 10 video content starting next week sometime. So, with that said, we're going to draw the last 4 names of the night, and we'll wrap this show up.
So everybody
Yes.
draws one.
Everybody's going to draw a name.
Who wants to go first?
You.
Brad's going first.
I drew Wing 2K5.
Wing 2K5. Congratulations.
Christine, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Draw a damn name.
Damn it. Let go.
Draw a goddamn name.
Okay. I've got Mojo 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Congratulations.
More like Hojo.
Okay. And I drew Typo King, but he misspelled King. I guess. I'm guessing that's the joke.
Oh, I get it.
His reputation precedes him.
Congratulations, Typo
The
King.
last one.
Last winner of the night.
Oh, here it is. It's this one. Jesus, Nick. Dr. Gonzo Z? Gonzo 2?
Dr. Gonzo.
Dr. Gonzo
2.
2?
There's probably only one Dr. Gonzo on there, so I'm pretty sure we're good.
Gonzos.
So thank you everyone for submitting questions. Congratulations to everyone whose name was drawn. Thank you for subscribing. For those of you who subscribed and submitted a question, once again you'll get first picks off the list there. Which just as a reminder as to the way that's going to work is I'll contact everybody on that we drew tonight via email, and I'll present y'all with the list of Steam codes, and y'all can pick whatever you want off that list. And I'm just going to move down the list that way until all the codes have been picked. But once again, thanks for listening. This has been episode 300. Is there anything we want to say in closing?
Thanks for being around, guys.
Thanks for being around. Video games. Chris, you want
I
to say
hope they don't stop making them.
I hope they don't either. Sorry, Gray Fox.
300.
Yeah, so that's 300 shows. That's more.
How about another
we
300?
I think we did more viewer questions in this one show than we did in the past year. It feels like it. We've been answering viewer questions for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, thanks
it
everybody
really
for listening. 4playernetwork.com is the website. Check us out if you haven't already. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Well, no, subscribe to us on Twitch.
Yeah, on Twitch. Yeah.
You said iTunes.
Well, I mean, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes.
If you wanna
Subscribing on
listen.
Twitch. Yeah, if you listen to the podcast as a podcast, subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe to our Twitch channel where we broadcast. It's $5 a
Man,
month.
fuck iTunes. Fucking hate iTunes.
Fuck iTunes, Brad.
Subscribe to us on Twitch.
Yeah. Twitch is the big one. You can watch us live every night at 4pp.tv. And subscribing really helps us out. And we have a whole bunch of cool stuff planned. Brad, would you like to give a shout out again to our chatter of the month, real quick?
Our
He's
subscriber.
in chat. Subscriber of the month
Sorry.
is Mr. Oblivion.
Mr. Oblivion.
Everyone say hi to Mr. Oblivion.
Hi, Mr.
Hey,
I will,
Mr.
be,
Oblivion.
I will be playing his game of choice starting probably this weekend.
Which is a surprise.
A surprise.
It is a surprise to all of us. So we'll figure out what that is. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week for our 2012 award podcast.
301.
301.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.